Yes, sir. I went to, the ABC board and got fingerprinted and everything told me, gave me a letter to bring back to down here. So I turned it in down here at the office. And, that's all I know. Trying to get a real license from the store.
So we'll put you on the agenda.
Okay.
For approval. You already came to us with this?
Yes, sir.
So we already know, you know.
Okay.
So we just put you on there for approval.
Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Okay, you wanna amend that, for the meeting, go ahead and approve it, and go into the next meeting.
Well, these on the agenda, and it, it'll be this week. I need to come up with minutes, put it on the next one, because he already amended
Right.
it before.
I think that we wanna amend it, go ahead and approve it, in that meeting now, when we do the agenda, and go into the next.
You deliver, excuse me, you deliver the letter to the office.
Right.
What are the requirements? You have to advertise publicly before we do this, you don't have to run it so many days in the paper, you know, and let the public know and have a public assembly. What does the letter say? From
Maybe
ABC
I'm
board?
already did that, I already advertised it. Did you already advertise it?
Not to know, I don't know.
No, I kind of was here once and then, doctor had to go before the ABC board, get fingerprinted. I went up there and they did everything.
We'll find out.
Okay, okay.
The thing, I thought he had done the advertisement too, but he probably haven't. If he haven't done it, the advertisement would be the first thing. Since it's an injection in the community.
Right, but we'll get with you.
Okay, all right, thank you. All right.
Everything is good.
Okay,
Just so we, put the wrong part check.
okay, all right, thank you. How you doing? All right.
What was that for you? I know he come before, he come before us previously,
Yeah.
I think the only thing he has to do, because he is in your folders, he did go before the ABC license. So I think he should be on the page. Okay. But I think he go for the state president, come to the commission.
Yes, something you want to talk about?
Are you the first meeting?
Yes, you want to be on the agenda?
Yes.
David?
Yes, it is.
How you doing, ma'am?
Fine, how are you? Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Yeah. Oh, my son.
I can introduce her, because she lives in my district. This is Miss Madeline McLean, and she lives off of Peachburg Road on Summer Lane. And, Summer Lane has probably, I would say, 10 to 12 homes, maybe? Is that about right, maybe?
Eight, brick home,
Okay,
first time built. Then we have several mobile, I think you call them mobile homes?
Yes, ma'am.
Jail.
so, and she's mentioned to me, she has a concern about some of the potholes on Summer Lane, but I'll just let you talk, Ms. McLean, and explain it.
Okay, thank you, sir. First of all, my name is Dr. Madeline Macklin, and I'm here as a concerned citizen about the conditions, the poor conditions on Summer Lane. First, I would like to talk about the fact, I'm going to be very transparent, I'm going to talk about the fact that the road needs resurfacing badly. We would like for the road to be returned to a state-of-the-art road so we can get to and from our property. At this point, we are unable to do that because of the large potholes and the washing away of the pavement and the large trucks that comes through continuously cause our road to be unpassable, unsafe, and maybe at some point cause death. Now, I was looking out the window the other day as the bus came down the street and turned into the curb. The bus almost ran off the main path. And I pray to God that no one's child will be hurt, because I would be very upset if my child was hurt in a bus accident because of neglect of the road not being fixed. Okay. The street condition is always almost undescribable in a point where coming by patching it. Has not helped. And, as I said earlier, the uneven pavement, the large pothole, I'm not talking about maybe a little 2-inch or 3-inch, I'm talking about a large pothole that's in the road. Because of the heavy rain, as you all well know, and I think it's central Alabama, we get a lot of rain. So in this part of the country, it seems to me that we will all know that the road should be repaired repeatedly. And I think that's why we are here as concerned citizens on Peachburg Road. Another issue I'd like to consider, for the past decade, 10 years ago, we made this problem known, and I guess the term that fell on deaf ears. And I would like to see, and when I say I'm talking about we, as a team, as a neighborhood, would like to see the roads fixed. We'd like to see it fixed immediately. I reached out and conversation, I had an open conversation with Commissioner Adams. I had an open conversation with Mr. In fact, I gave you a visit. I visited your office. And I had a conversation, I don't know the other gentleman, but I did have a conversation with you, and I also had some conversation with the person that's over the county engineer. And he did send someone out to patch, but when they patched, the road in such a terrible, deplorable condition. When they patched, it made the water wash further down the street and made more of the concrete wash away, which is causing an even more problem. We would like to see Summer Lane. I'm saying this with a lot of compassion. We would like to see, as neighbors on Summer Lane, the road completely resurfaced in the next 90 days. I hope you will take that into consideration, because we don't want to make the headlines that somebody got killed because you ran into a ditch and the road wasn't fixed. Are there any questions?
Jackson, are you familiar with this area?
I am. Yes. You spoke, I'm familiar with it.
Yeah, you better speak. So I'm waiting for the resolution.
Jackson, what is the situation?
We talked about, I mean, that as far as, that road goes, yes, we have, patched it and been continuously patching a lot of the smaller roads. It's in need of resurfacing like many roads we have. I don't know if it being on the, immediate list right now of resurfacing, but, I'm well aware of that. I actually went out to the road the next day after we talked, took a look at it. Take a look at it. If Bishop would like to go out there and take a look at it, we can look at it afterwards.
Have the potholes been worked on?
Yes, that they have.
Okay, Mr. Evans. So, I made some videos, and I'm going to give you a copy, please. And you, Mr. Administrator, Mr. Patrick, and what's the name of that street?
And we'll share.
Okay, we'll share. Would you please share with Mr. Share with Mr. McGowan, please? Would you two share it down? If you go through the sheet, you see the pocket. And I think that's undeniable. You can't say that do not exist now. But that came out 2 days ago. Look at it. I took those pictures yesterday. You've been down the road. The road is horrible. And on my phone, I took some additional pictures. See, those are the little patches. See, what happens is, when you patch it, the water runs down. If you know anything about erosion and science, when you patch a little piece and it goes through the whole thing, it destroys the whole shebang. So if you want like to see that road resurface, I would like to see it done immediately in the next 90 days.
Yes, sir.
You hear the request she made in 90 days, what's the possibility before she leaves, thinking that it's going to be resurfaced in 90 days? Could you speak to that, engineer? Is there any likelihood of it being resurfaced in 90 days? From the vantage point?
I mean, as it stands right now, no, sir, I don't think so. I mean, because it stands right this minute.
I just want to get that clear because, I didn't see, based on what we have going on, you asked for a 90-day request. I can't see anything being done in 90 days.
Okay, that's
I just
not.
want to
Is that
be
pushing
clear.
it a little bit?
Well, I don't know. See, we have projects, we're going to be talking about that in this session a little later on, about what we're going to be
What
doing.
you trying to do?
So,
But, I mean, obviously, it seems to me that that's not a priority.
we have priority list of roads to be paved, and we got to address that and the amount of money, and the bids came in, so we're going to be discussing that, but paving is very, very expensive. I don't even see the money to do any more than what we got already on tap. But, the engineer knows more about it because he plans this work out.
Oh, I see. Okay, I thank you for all your attention, and I think we need some help down here in Alabama. Just no less and less about. So I'm gonna reach out to the governor and see what she can suggest that we do in a situation like this, because I'm afraid, Mr. Patrick, Mr. Smith, that somebody's gonna be killed. Because those potholes are pretty deep, and putting a little asphalt in there is not doing the job. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, I take it that everybody, I sent everybody a letter. Did everybody get the letter?
I got the letter.
You got a letter?
I didn't.
Anybody else? Oh, you did? You didn't get one, Mr. McGowan?
Where did you send it to?
I sent it to the chambers. The young lady gave me the address.
You sent it there, I didn't get it.
I've never seen it.
Yeah.
So you said one to the
Yeah.
office?
Yes, it should be.
Which I don't even hearing about it.
Different
I just received it about 2 or 3 days ago.
In the middle, New York personal way.
Yeah, it came to the office.
Find out. So would you share that, Mr. McGowan, with us?
Yes, sure will.
Okay, I'm done.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Sir?
I'm Terry Hassett, and I've got some land out on 107 at the end of it. As long as I've had the land, 33 years, every time the road has been scraped, 107, they went all the way to my gate. The last time it was done, back in, I think it was November, they stopped about half a mile from where they've been going. And the last time I talked to y'all, I had Otis Perry had come in. He said as long as he had worked there, he was the county foreman, that's right. They worked it all the way to the gate. And all I would like to do is just you continue when they scrape it to the gate. Now, it's been a county road as long as I've owned it, and he said that they always scrape it. All I'd like them to do is just continue. And I know that sometimes they just scrape once a year, maybe depending on the condition of the road, just scrape again. The road's not in bad shape. My big concern is that as much as land changes in Bullock County, one day we walk in and somebody says, hey, this is my road, I'm gonna put a gate up and I've got to open a gate and all that. But it's been that way at County Road 107, I'm told at one time went all the way to 82. And all I'd like for them to do is continue grading it. Whenever they grade, instead of just grading it a mile and a half, grade it last about half a mile to my gate.
Mr. Martin?
We have discussed this, and Jason, you laid out to your workers what to stop at, and they doing exactly what's laid out on the map.
That is correct.
Well, we just gotta go by the map, so that's all we can go by. We can't go by anything else. We gotta go by the footage of what's on that map.
Well, nobody can tell me where that footage came from, and like I say, it's been doing for at least 33 years since I've known it. It's been, when I bought it, it was maintained that way, and according to Red, it was that way before I ever bought it. It went to that gate. So, my question is, as long as it's been maintained, that I don't quite understand why all of a sudden, just this year, they stopped, or last year. It looks like after you've been maintaining it for that long, that it would fall to the county as their road. And we're not talking about a lot of maintenance. I mean, it's been maintained and rocked and hauled in over the years and everything else, but the county's fixed it. And that's all I'm gonna do is just continue that last, whenever they scrape the road, just go ahead and go to the end. My contention, I don't know where the map came from. Nobody seems to know where it came from. Somebody said, well, it's a 9/11 map. And we've got a 9/11 address all the way to the property. So I'm at a loss.
Jason?
I mean, you know, that's the map we have, that's the map we've gone by, you know, since I've been here, as far as I know. You know, that's not to say it can be discussed, but right now, that's the map we've kind of gone by, as far as I know, under my direction, and that's kind of where we stopped. I don't know what they did, you know, way back when. I mean, and I believe what you're saying too, as far as what they may have done back in the past and went a little farther. You know, this is not kind of the first time we've had situations with roads that, you know, where there's a question whether it's a county road or a private road or something like that. So, and I'm just telling you what we have done, what's kind of the situation up till now.
Do we know where the map came from that you're using? When you say it's only so far, I guess what I'm getting at, they scraped it at one time, that road went all the way through to 82. And now, I don't know whether, nobody seems to know where the map came from that says it only goes.
You know, I don't know exactly that answer. I can talk to somebody and find that answer out. I need to know that answer anyhow, so I'll talk to the person, find that answer out, and bring it back to the commission.
Yes, sir. Look, the gentleman's come up to talk about this road that came before. Let's get some resolution to some of this and see what we're doing. We'll have to go back and forth. You know, you all should be able to get together and define that with the map, maybe with the engineer, not have to come back before us. I mean, it should be as simple as that, maybe. You get together, see, and then if you can't get together, then come back and maybe to us. You know, let's get some definite stuff, definite plans together and address this concern. How about that, Jason?
Sounds good.
And y'all get together and address that, and then see where it's at. And then if that's not satisfactory, then come back and see what's happening.
Thanks, sir. Thanks, sir.
Get the county attorney involved in it. At one time, they had to be a county road, so if they did that for them.
Well, again, oldest period is pointed out to Jason the same thing, that they did, it's been scraped long before I owned it. And all I want to do is just continue where it was, and it's not something that gets done 3 times a year. Sometimes it's a year, sometimes it just depends on how bad it is and when they get out there. There's several landowners on it. But I'll get with him and I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Sir? Experience?
Yeah, I heard that, you all had some, funding for, storm shelters, and that's what I come up with, check.
Storm shelter, you know, we had both talked about the storm shelter.
Would the race start no more about that, or was it through the EMA?
Well, you know, we had someone come do presentation. Are you asking for some COVID money that possibly could purchase one?
Yes,
Or
like,
towards one?
yeah, we would like to get one and put out at the Highway 51 Fire Department out there, just for the community area out there.
We didn't have no funding. We had a program, we had someone come to explain to us about funding, you know, but the county didn't have no access funding for storm shelters.
Okay,
So,
I should be able to get the contact for that.
Well, yeah, we still got, I got it in my office,
You get-
contact person, but, what's her name, is Lulu from Tri-State, does any storm shelter, does that COVID money, does that qualify for any help on something
I
like that?
mean, under your ARPA funds?
Yes.
Yes. It will, if they got a justification, and once you guys decide this is something you wanna do, just process the paperwork, and then we'll go through it.
I'll get you the information to the company.
Okay.
Let's see, Mr. Perry gave you some information I had.
Right, yeah.
So you don't want, okay, now I gave him the information, I gave him the information from the gentleman who came last week, for informational purposes. He said he's gonna give the information to you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so you're not requesting funding to secure one of those units.
Right.
I got what you're saying, I got what you're
First, you got
saying.
to get a price of what one will cost, and
Right.
all that.
Okay, well, I need to get started.
Yes, sir.
And just to comment on that, they made a good presentation, and they're willing to help write grants and know where some funding is for that, and they expressed the willingness to assist if you have the information in that company, where you could find the money at maybe to get one put up. They brought that to us. So if you just contact them, they might give you a roadmap to how to get one going. And so you get that roadmap and see what you need from us. But they indicated that they could assist with where the money was from FEMA and everything else out there to help to get a shelter up. So
Okay.
they got some information that put you in the right direction.
And also do with Grace God. I can make that.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I am Priscilla Scott. I have been attending meetings for the last 3 months about my yard. Last meeting, I felt very disrespected in here. I came to you guys and I mentioned my yard. It fell on deaf ear. No one said anything. Y'all just passed over to the next person, which I felt like I wasn't respected. And I do respect. Okay, the meeting before I came, I was here. Commissioner Logan spoke to
Turn the water.
Young Water about my yard. He said, we're gonna put your concrete back, but not your pipes. And I'm going like, why not the pipes? That would be between $2,000 and $3,000. That's a lot of money. It's not a lot of money. The pipes were there when Jason took my pipes up. The pipes have been there for 50 years. I said, I want my yard just like it was before you took the pipes up. If you feel like $3,000 is a lot of money, but I pay taxes every year for the last 50 years I've been paying taxes in Alabama, right here in Bullock County. I never asked anyone to come out to my property and do anything. Jason came out, took my driveway up, put the little short pipe back down, water rained, washed it right away. I had to go out there, which I am 74 years old. I had to go out there with a shovel to push the gravel back up there, off the pipe where it rained. Okay, he came back out there, took my land, cause the road was the king. He took the land off of my side of the ditch, rebuilt the road back up. The road is perfect. Every time it's rained, just like the young lady said, we having this flood rain. My yard is still washing away. You're gonna decay my land to build up the county road. Every time the county road falls down, you're just gonna come out and take my land, build up the county road. Then that same day, he comes out there, surveying the land. Oh, we can come this far up on your land to fix the road. Well, you taking dirt from over here, putting over here, his regular washing away over here. So after a while, where I supposed to live at, in a home? He admitted to you all that he took the dirt. Then he's gonna come outside and go this far on your land. Yeah, Jason, you can go this far on my land, but you can't make my land decay. You have to build my land up as you build the road up. Or either go out and get your dirt and bring it in. After I say I can charge you for getting your dirt, oh, but I can come so far on your land. So now I'm asking you guys very nicely. $3,000 is not a lot of money. The pipes were put there 50 years ago. The pipes decayed. The reason why they put the pipes there, because the road was decaying. In order to build the road up, they had to put the pipes there. Now you're taking my land, building the road up. Please put the pipes back. Please put my cement back. Because I have a secret. I'm gonna be here every meeting, just like you guys.
I see you addressing me with all the concerns, but.
Yeah,
but-
because you were gonna say it was everyone else said, fix my yard like a world. Make me whole. You said no.
Ms. Priscilla, the property line with the county right of way, that's the county right of way. So if we gonna do stuff decent and order by the law, the county right of way is the county. You do not own the county right of way.
I know.
You do not own the dirt that what the county right of way is. You do not own what the county do on their property. You do not own that. So what went on 20 years ago, 30 years ago, we don't have anything to do with that. But what go on now, that's what gonna go, what I stand for is right. And what's the law allow us to do. And the law allow us to work on our property to keep it the way it need to be perfect. Now your yard probably was nice and pretty and straight across, but it became an issue when the pipes rotted out, rusted out, and the county had to go back in there and fix it. So when the county fixed it, they fixed it the way they felt like was the proper way of fixing it. And Jason and our workers, they do a superb job in putting the pipes back in there. We agreed, this commissioner body didn't vote on it or nothing about the concrete. And the concrete was put on the county property. The county did not give you authorization to put it on the property. See, it's a lot into it. It's a lot into that. So what we're doing, I mean, what I feel like is right is doing what by the law. Now, if the commissioner want to go and break the law, they can do it, but I would not vote on that. I'm not gonna break the law just because it makes somebody satisfied.
Commissioner Galvin.
I'm not asking you to break the law. I'm asking you to make me whole. The county came out and took the pipes up. And then he made a teetotal mess. He didn't even try to straighten up. Every time it rained, my property is still washing away. There was a big old nap on it. He threw some little grass up there. And this guy passed by some, Jason mixed up your yard, and your yard still decaying, but he built the road up.
Commissioner
So the
Galvin.
only thing y'all care about the road being built up. And the only thing I care about my property not washing away.
But it's not your property.
He's your man. I pay tax on
But what
that
I'm
year.
saying, it's the county right of way.
Commissioner Silver.
Yeah.
Commissioner Galvin.
No, I share a concern. She's brought this to us before, you know, and I made the motion to make that whole. That's all I can do from this vantage point. I witnessed your yard for the 50 years it was there, and I know what it looked like, and I see what it looks like today. And I don't know the attorneys here now, but by prescriptive rights, if it's been like that for 50 years, and now you're gonna make a change, and it looked like you can put it back like it was, you know. She's presumed and managed that property for 50 years with pipes on it, and now it's been shifted another way. If we were in districts, as a commissioner, I'd put the pipes back in the unit system, and they did that. We no longer in the district system, but that's why I made the motion to make it whole, put it back like it was. You went in, you disrupted it, put it back like it was. Been that way for 50 years, leave it that way. That was my contention all along. And nothing else I can say about it, Ms. Priscilla, except that, you know.
Well, our attorney, that they spoke several weeks
Well,
ago.
if this is the same issue, there was a driveway that had a pipe that collapsed or something. And then there was also, other than the driveway, there was a portion of the yard that made, did it have the pipe in it also?
Yes, the pipe ran all the way down to the
But
dirt road, which is.
it ran from the driveway, correct?
Right.
Okay, well, let me ask you this, and I hadn't put a tape measure on it, I trust Jason, and they know what they're doing. They did replace the pipe in the driveway. which would allow the water to continue to flow in the ditches, I'm assuming.
Yes.
I guess what your complaint is, as I understood it, is you want your yard fixed. Is that, we're not talking driveway here. There's been a pipe put in the driveway to allow surface water to go and not, along the county roadway, edge of the ditch or whatever. But what you're saying is, from the driveway, there's another portion of your yard that needs to have a pipe.
Yes, the pipe was there, and the reason why the pipe was there, because they built it up to keep the road from decaying.
They built it up to keep the road from what?
Yeah, years ago, the road would decay, would fall in, the highway was. So every time it would rain, the road would start washing, so they kept putting dirt there, so then they decided to put the pipe there. And when they put the pipe there, so the pipe could run all the way down, the side of the highway stopped decaying.
Okay, so what you're saying is the pipe was put in there to keep the highway from falling in.
Yes.
Now, the question then goes, today, when it rains, does the highway fall in?
Yes, Jason.
I don't know what Jason and them, it would seem that if the roadway is not being deteriorated, then there's no need for the pipe.
The road is not deteriorated now because Jason came and took the dirt and built the road up and put some grass seeds there. So right at the moment now, it's not caving in.
Okay, and what I'm saying is, ma'am, and I'm not trying to, I'm just telling you from the county's concern, evidently from what you're saying years ago, was to make sure that the road was passable and the public was not in danger. And to do that meant they put a pipe in to channel the water.
Right.
The question I have, so it was a public safety issue for the county to maintain the road for the public.
Right.
Now, is the road being maintained today without the pipe, and is the road safe? If it is, from the county's perspective, there's no need for the pipe.
Okay.
The road is safe.
At the moment, the road are safe because a couple of months, about the middle of last month, Jason came and fixed it, built it up, and put some grass seeds there. So right now, it is holding up.
Well, okay, and I understand that. From this seat that I sit in and represent the county's interest in that pipe is the roadway, not your yard. And I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm just saying legally, we maintain the roadway and the shoulders and so forth for public safety. And if there's something causing that to be a problem and they put in a pipe, that's for the safety of the road, not for your grass or your yard. Now, so when that was done, that may have been for the safety of the road. If the road is now safe because of passage of time and better road conditions, a better building or whatever, I don't know. I'm hearing that Jason says it probably is safer. He's the county engineer. Then there's no need for the pipe. And if there's no need for the pipe, then as long as the county's keeping the roadway safe and passable, then and the county engineer where his head is determined we don't need that pipe in there anymore to do that, then I don't think from a legal perspective the county has any obligation to put the pipe back in. Okay. Now, if this commission votes to do it, that's their business. But if you're asking me where my lawyer's at, that's kind of where I'm seeing it. Now, and the next question I would ask would be, if it's that big a problem, can you put in a pipe in your own yard?
Yes, I could, but...
I'm just saying, I don't know. I don't know the answer to all these questions, but the right-of-way is where the county, but the right-of-way is there for the county to maintain the road in a safe condition. So, from a legal perspective, I don't think the county has a legal obligation to put the pipe in. They just got a legal obligation to keep the roadway safe.
I got a question from a legal standpoint. The fact that for 50 years she's maintained this all that time, the pipes were there, they were taken up in this place now. She's taken care of this for 50 years. Talk about prescription rights and stuff like that. She's done this for 50 years and maintained that yard. It's been disfigured. She didn't have any rights for associated with her maintenance of that right away for 50 years. She's been maintaining that.
No, sir,
No.
not on a prescriptive, it's no question, prescription is about ownership. She owns it, but the county right away, the county may have an easement for the right of way. But prescription doesn't have anything to do with a pipe, it's got everything to do with whether somebody owns something or don't own something.
Okay, but.
No, I don't think anybody's questioning the ownership interest in the property, are they?
No, they're not. What the problem is, okay, when the road, okay, Jason said he could come over on, so far on my land, and he came over and got dirt to build the road back up. And so every time the road decay, he's supposed to come over and get dirt and build the road back up. He admitted in the meeting that he did.
No, that's not true. We didn't come to her property and take any dirt from her property.
Yes, you did. You wasn't there. I went out there and looked at the guy. You wasn't there. They did.
I'll go out when you have to meeting, we'll look at that.
We don't been out there several times, and each time he could come so far on my property and do whatever he wanted to do.
Now, Jason, on her side, she's saying that now it's washing.
It's washing.
Can you put some riprap or something in that ditch line and on that bank to keep that soil from washing back down in the ditch?
We could, if it gets to the point that's necessary, yes, we could do that. We want to do that just from our standpoint of stabilizing the right of way. But we're still talking about the right of way. I mean, she keeps referring to her property, but all this is within the county right of way. I don't want you to get, muddy the waters here. It's still, we're talking about the county right of way. But yes, if it ever got to that point where it was washing back the bank within the county right of way, or even getting close up there to her property, yes, we would try to take measures to alleviate that.
He's doing that now, Jason. He's doing that now. Each and every rain.
I went out there and I marked the property line. That's what I was asked last time, to mark the property line. I went out there and marked it and met with you, and you said, oh, I didn't realize the right of way came back that far.
And I still don't believe that's right. I don't think that's right. He came first and halfway up to my yard.
It's 440
We can come this far. He said he come from the center of that road, 40 feet back towards my lane from the center of that road. He come high as 40 feet. I'm going like, well, what do I know?
Would that be on the map, the road map?
Well, that's what the easement is, the Clark County Road, Federal Highway.
And the county road is so small, 2 cars can't pass.
What, 40 feet center line, Jason, on either side?
I mean, it varies, but in that particular spot, it's 40 to 50 feet. I think actually in that spot, it's actually 50 feet. I've got the old roadway plans out there, we can look at the maps. But the spot we're talking about, the right of way goes on up beyond the spot where we stopped our work.
So the work you did was on the county right of way?
Correct.
And then which road is this, what number?
Road 42. So they're close to Everest.
Keep that side of the road from washing back into the ditch, put some riprap there to stabilize that side, so we won't clog up the ditch, so the water still can flow.
Right. If we have problems stabilizing it as it is, we can put some riprap or something like that to make sure it holds.
Thank you, Mr. Cobb.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Miranda, you have something on the agenda?
Yes, sir. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
This is a situation in regards to drivers for the aging program. I had a driver to become ill in November. Since that time, I have not heard anything from that driver. I have made repeated phone calls and still no response. So this leaves us in a position where we're having to rely on one of our assistant drivers for the area of Midway. And since I have not heard anything from the former driver, I am really in need of at least a replacement and an additional part-time driver. So my request before you, I've done the advertisement, I've done everything that is necessary. But my request from you is that I will be able to hire 2 part-time drivers. And this will replace the former driver, and I will have an additional driver for the Union Springs or Bullock, or Midway area.
Since we already advertised,
Yes, sir.
do we need to re-advertise and specify the Midway area, so maybe someone in that area would apply?
Well, right now,
Since that's where,
well,
Mr. Tom don't want the job.
Mr. Tower said he would do it for 2 years. Just drive for 2 years.
So we still need backup drivers.
Yes, sir. Because we have not heard anything from our previous Midway driver. So we're kind of in a short, hard place because one of the drivers is scheduled to go to class at the end of this month. And that means that I'm going to have to try to go out and deliver meals because we don't have an extra person, so.
We already approved the advertising, unless we want to extend that advertising again for drivers. I've talked to several drivers, or people, well, some of the former assistants, they said he was gonna get with you, so.
I've also interviewed some people, and I'm just waiting on the commissioners to say, okay.
Well, bring recommendations.
You make recommendations today.
If you approve one of them, you just bring it to us, and then we'll approve your recommendation. You
Okay.
chose one, that's true. Do you have one that you want to approve?
I don't have that information with me. I can just go and get it. Yes, sir. Thank you. So that's where we are.
If you just bring a recommendation of one of the guys in the interview, or persons, or both, that you chose, and if they meet the qualifications, that the proper driver license, we will approve.
All right.
You have someone that we can approve today?
Yes.
What I wanted to ask, are y'all gonna move that to the regular meeting?
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Just bring them names back in a little bit.
Yes, sir.
And we'll make sure that they have it.
Good morning, gentlemen. Good morning. I don't know if one of these agenda item or not, but 29th of last month, Bullock County Rescue was called over to Macon County to work an accident. The driver had been there for over an hour already. No one from Macon County would respond. Not Tuskegee, not Shorter, not Little Texas, no one from Macon County. Trooper May called me, and we responded. We didn't mind doing it, but here's what it leaves me in a bind. And I thought my mayor was sitting here, but I'm fire chief of Union Springs. I'm out in Macon County, I have a fire here. This courthouse catches on fire. We have a wreck here. I'm in another county working. Now, it puts me in a bind. I hate to say no when someone loses their life, but I've got to draw the line somewhere, or maybe you can draw the line for me. I put it on your shoulder. We don't mind going out saving lives. That's what we're here for. But Bullock County supplies us with our needs to protect our citizens and our travelers through Bullock County. We don't have a dog track here. We don't have the finances that maybe Macon County has. I would like to maybe send their commissioners, with Patrick's help, a bill. They probably won't pay it, but at least it will open their eyes. And if they do pay it, then it's better for the rest of you. But I can't get caught with my pants down in another county when I should be here in our county. I don't know what the answer is to it. The trooper told me, he said, if you don't come, this guy's going to die. So luckily, he did. But that was, he wrecked, I think, like 3:25 on the 29th. Sunday morning. That Sunday night, Macon County called Bullock County Rescue once again to go over to Macon County for a car accident. And when we arrived, and it was 9 other guys with me. It cost the city a lot of money to be working in Macon County. When I got there, it's one of our officers, Ants. She was hung up in the car, in the truck. One of my deputy sheriffs came over there to assist me. He climbed on top of the truck with 5 deputy sheriffs from Macon County sitting there like this. I busted out the front glass, we cut the seat belt, and we walked her through the windshield. But yet still, Bullock County Rescue was in Macon County doing something that took us 2 or 3 minutes to do. It does not seem like there's any concern over there in Macon County. I know funds are tight everywhere, but if Bullock County can afford what we have, over $300,000 in that truck, these other counties can too. That Sunday morning, Trooper Mays called everybody he could. We had people, 5 firemen from Real Town. Now, you know how far is it from Real Town to Highway 29 in Macon County? They came over to assist us. It took us almost 3 hours to cut this guy out. There's 3 hours I should have been here. Sunday night, I should have been here. So I'd like to get on the agenda to maybe send them a bill and see what your ideas are. Just not going anymore.
Well, I'll say this, I mean, I appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and, and I appreciate you going over there and saving somebody's life. I mean, when people are pinned in cars, and can't get out, they depend on the equipment you have to get them out. But I think we do need to take some steps and, to notify Macon County. Like you said, maybe the county commission, to at least make sure they're aware of what's happening. And, maybe that'll help bring some awareness and help maybe get things moving along. But I don't think we need to just sit here and do nothing, because it's, like you said, we need you here, but at the same time, in my opinion, I think it's great that you went over there, but like you said, it leaves us kind of, without anybody here, so.
I'm just afraid the next time it won't be, 3 miles north of Fort Davis, it'll be on I-60, I-85. We've run into, I've worked in Barber County before with Eufaula Fire Department. They bragged on our truck. I've worked with Troy Fire Department down in Pike County. They bragged on our truck. Done the same thing down on 51 South with those fire departments down there. They brag on our truck. But with them bragging on our truck, they're also dependent on our truck. That truck is the greatest thing I think that the county has ever given us, and you continue to give. But y'all work hard for it. I worked hard for it. Our citizens pay taxes for it. And then, Macon County is getting used to calling Bullock County. Now, these other counties I've called, it's been where it's been on the Barber Bullock County line, and we don't know exactly where it is. And we go because of that reason. The other counties don't make a habit of calling us, but the Macon County sheriffs make a habit of calling us. With the Union Springs Fire Department, we go to Fort Davis, we go to the county line. But Macon County was calling us to go farther and farther and farther, and I finally had to talk with the commissioner and say, look, we can't do it anymore. Y'all got fire departments over here. I just put the foot down and said, no more. I hate to do it, but, I can't protect Macon County when I've got to protect Union Springs. Like I said, I don't want to do it, but we need to, if they're willing to pay, I don't mind stepping over the line a little bit. But, I don't want to keep on doing it and working for free, but it's costing the county, it's costing the city, it's costing my guys, because some of them have to get up to go to work the next morning, or some of them are late going to work. And it's a good service, but it's a good service for Bullock County.
I commend what you do, and like I said, we're blessed to have a dedicated person like you and your team. I want to ask the attorney, is there any way possible that he could bill those insurances or those vehicles or insurance? Or,
I don't know anything about insurance or whatever. What I'm saying is, we're a governmental entity. We're not a for-profit. I think we could, you or this commissioner, well, let's just say you could send a bill to, for what you did based upon what your costs were, not necessarily, you know, United Hands Ambulance, if you're sending a bill for your services and they're a private company. You are a representative of a governmental entity that provides you with this equipment. I don't think it would be out of line at all to send them a bill for the cost. Whatever materials you use, whatever fuel you use, you know, I don't know how or if you compensate your people who work, but if you reimburse them for their expenses that it costs them to drive there or whatever, your costs, I think you can, and say, hey, this is what it cost us to go there. Not any profits or, you know, I think you would be well in line to be compensated for that, being a governmental entity. But above that, I don't think you would. But again, I commend you for going. And the problem you got is, y'all are good at what you do. You got a good reputation, and folks know you'll respond when they call. So they're gonna call, and that ain't nothing but respect. And I know that's a good thing, but when you get down to dollars and cents, sometimes they'll abuse you. And I think that may be what's going on. They know, hey, we call them, they come, and they gonna get them out of here. And that's to commend you to say they know what they're doing. That's a good thing. The bad side of it is they abuse you sometimes because they know you will come.
Well, I think,
Yeah, but Chairman,
yes, sir.
everything's been said, that's just great. But Rob, what I want to ask is about the relationship. You know, we in that situation, we had big fires over here before folks come and stuff. When you start having volunteer agents and stuff, start paying for service and stuff, we want to work with, you know, a good, wholesome relationship. We don't want nobody to hesitate to come to us and we charge them over here. They come over here and charge us and all of this. You know, how does that apply? Maybe some conversation with the Macon County Commission and those other organizations to get some understanding before we start billing, you know, somebody for some services might be a first step in a better direction, you know, and let them understand the cost, see what they're willing to say about it, and maybe offer before we just ironclad, okay, we're gonna bill you for this and that, and nothing. So when we need help, something, we're gonna bill you too. We come to you, you set this up.
I can understand that. When we had the fire here, I had every fire department in the county. Tuskegee was working side by side with us. My problem is when I go to Tuskegee, I'm not working side by side with us. That's why I couldn't go into the fires, because I was over there in Tuskegee fighting a church fire and called for more water. They promised me they were coming. They never showed up. And I don't mind helping anybody. We're gonna work side by side, but I don't want to come to your county and do the work for you. That's my concern. And I don't expect them to pay the bill, but I want them to know that, well, they send us a bill for coming over here, we better not call them anymore, or we better change our ways. I'm looking more of this to bring it to their attention. And because dollars and cents can catch someone's attention sometimes.
I appreciate everything you do. But I'm just saying this, we gotta be transparent. If you're gonna send a bill to Macon County, you got to send a bill to Pike County when you go in Pike County. You gotta send a bill to Russell County. You got to send a bill in Barber County as well. So we got to be transparent on anything we do. We got to make sure if we're gonna charge Tuskegee for going on, I don't know how many miles you're gonna go out on Tuskegee. If you're gonna charge them, you got to charge Pike County as well. Barber County as well.
I understand that, but
yes,
the reason we went to there is because no one could give us a definite address. And when Macon County called, it was not a 911 call that came in, it was a Macon County call here. We knew exactly where it was in Macon County. It's about 4 miles over to Macon County. Now these Barber and Pike counties were always right there on the line within 100 feet sometimes to 10 feet. but it still might be just over into another county. But I understand what you're saying, Billy. We can look into that. I understand.
Transparent. I mean, that's the way to keep this county commissioner
I
body.
understand.
That's my main concern, is this county commissioner body doing something the legal way. So if you're gonna charge one county, charge the surrounding counties in Bullock County.
I understand.
Yes.
Commissioner, would you like for me and Rob to go sit down with Chairman Maxwell?
Yes.
And possibly Mayor Haygood at the same time, so that we
Yes, that'll be great.
discuss that. Like, go talk to him, Rob, me and you.
That's fine.
We'll set up a meeting with
that'd be
those
great.
two, and we'll go talk to them, and then we'll bring y'all something back.
That'd be
If
great.
that's okay.
I think it'd be great. I could take the mayor of Union Springs.
Okay.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes.
Mayor Clark.
Come on, yeah.
The next thing is just a reminder, I'm getting more and more grants, getting more and more rescue equipment. I need room to put it in. And we've gotten this here, I see where it can be, some money, maybe appropriated to building, that building there. I went to work and got the land. I've asked for help on this, and I haven't gotten any help. It's just so much I can do. I've still got this UTV project going that we're trying to finish up. I work another job. I understand I also work for the county, but I've asked for some help, and I'm waiting on one more contractor to finalize his quote. It'll be the last quote I can get for this building. But I would like for you to seriously consider, since we have the land in a prime location, we've got this mobile medical clinic coming in. We can do this in phases. I mean, it doesn't have to be a $10 million project all at once. But I'm looking at, $300,000 or $400,000. But like I said, we just need a place to park this county equipment. I can't park it out in the street. Like I said, we got $300,000 in that truck. This UTV, they steal UTVs left and right every day. It needs to be out of the weather, and it needs to be secure. And so will the mobile medical clinic. So just would like you to consider or think about giving some help toward this project.
Rob, I was just thinking, maybe we could be a DECA and see if there's some help there. But in the meantime, we can park that ATV at the GP Thompson inside of that building and give you access to it when you need it to go out and get it. Would it be in the way, Jason?
It would not be in the way.
For temporary, how's that fenced in the gate for as long as?
It's not the most secure place.
No, I'll keep it up there. No disrespect, but right now I stack on top of something up here, or take it out there, because I have our fire training facilities out there, and I know what goes on out there, so.
Jason, what about, at the Stone Building, back there where you park your equipment, if we got one of those little carports, small carport, put in a spot to back that under, is there any room possibly for that?
There'd be room for it.
If that's okay with the commissioners to look into that, we gotta be out of the weather.
Yeah, it's gotta be out of the weather, but it's also tractors left from out there too. I'll keep it right here for right now, but I won't be in the bag. I know I'm asking for one thing and then denying everything, but I know where it is, and I know it's safe there. It might be, I might have to crawl over to go to the meeting room, but we need to consider this, because the mobile medical clinic cannot fit at the fire station, so.
Yeah, with that being said, when we complete this community development project out, and the sooner we get this done in the Ponderosa community page, we can be eligible to apply for community development block grant funds again. That might be a project where we can apply for the money to do that. I don't know if it fits that criteria or not, but we could look at getting the application ready to apply. We can't apply until we complete this project out here. But if we complete it real soon, there might be some funding there. CDBG grant.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir, what say, we're trying to stay.
Just one thing, good morning, everyone.
Morning.
I have already copy here, I didn't bring an extra one. Basically, Mr. Scott had, and the company had put together this, toolkit. And basically, all it does is just go through and sort of explain to you funding opportunity. And there's a summary, so you don't have to take a lot of time to read. There's a brief summary here of each of the funding opportunities. And then, once you look at the summary, if it's something you're interested in, to get more information, there is a link that you can go on the internet and actually get detailed information. And then we have been talking about shovel-ready projects for a long time. And on page number 9, there's a basic checklist. And, you know, everybody understands a shovel-ready project. All that means is that you've done the research, it's already been engineered, it's something you want to do, but you just don't have the funding for it. So when this infrastructure money finally comes down, then possibly, you know, you can use this checklist and basically see the projects that are ready to go. And you know, if you have any questions or whatever on things that you're interested in, just give me a call and let me know, and I'll try to research things for you and get some answers.
Any questions, Jim?
Any questions? Thank you.
Yeah,
Judge, you want to? You good? Ms. Reed, you want? Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Chairman, Commissioners, and staff, I was looking at my resolution, and I'm asking the Commissioners this morning if you would to revisit this resolution for the Revenue Commissioner, and I wanted amendment from 10,000 to 12,500, and that would be in uniformity with the probate judge and the share increase. And it's just now beginning to be advertised, and it's advertised at 12.5. So I just want to make sure your records are in order as well as my records. So I'm asking for an increase. And I have the money in my budget if the commissioners will approve it.
You said that's being advertised now?
Yeah, it starts today.
Starts today.
Yeah. I was asking for, okay, remember last year I came before you with a resolution, 2203, asking for an increase in salary, but I'm asking to be included with the probate judge and the sheriff. I received what I was supposed to receive, 10,000, I never received that. So I'm asking you if you would increase it from 10,000 to 12,500 dollars. And that would be in uniform with the probate judge and the sheriff's salary.
Question, Jim?
The sheriff's was approved, right, last year, so
Yeah.
It was,
probate judge, is that coming up this time? or is
yes,
that-
it is being advertised now.
Okay. And his was 12, increase?
12.5.
12.5.
Sheriff is 12, I think it's 12.5, you look at 12.5.
Right.
Well, yeah, I have a question and concern, because someone else is getting something like that, you know, the salaries again, you know, we said 10,000, you know, based on what other counties and what people are paying, and it's certainly worthy of an increase, but Bullock County is a small county in our budget, and what we do as it relates to these increases, not based on what somebody else got, but what we can pay for the same type of services, you know. How does that relate to salaries of other clerks, what you're getting now? And others in the same position around the state. I mean, the counties our size.
Well, most of them have other expense accounts that they refer to make, to associate an increase in salaries. But I don't think asking 12.5 is too much, Commissioner McGowan, because of the work I do. and the money that I bring in, I bring over $6 million a year. This is for all the entities in Bullock County. So, and I try to stay within my budget. Patrick can tell you that each year. So, I just think it would be fair or reasonable if we gonna give one official one thing, y'all give all of us the same thing.
I agree.
You see a copy of that?
I agree. All four of our salaries was the same thing, and, you're gonna give one, should give us all the same, keep down animosity. It'd just be the fair thing to do.
And like I said,
Right, excuse me for cutting you off. Basically, this is friendship. This is friendship. That's bottom line, it's friendship, favoritism, cliquing. That's all it is. And it's not fair to do one and not do the other when we all making the same thing, Ms. Reed. I agree with you. You've been serving this county for 4 years, and board commissioner to tell you what another county does. But in that case, we tell all of us the same thing.
Right.
And in that case, the commissioners, we could actually almost say the same thing. Bottom line. Do one resolution, keep it all the same, and take care of our people here, stop friendship, clicking, that buddy system. That's basically all that's going on in this region.
it's being advertised at 12:05, but I know the resolution said 10, and I don't think I'm asking for the resolution to be increased by $2,500. Like I said, you always said, mention about the budget, but the budget can afford this increase. Are there any questions?
Yes, ma'am.
I hope I'm not out of order.
No, ma'am.
Okay, I have a question. Shouldn't that go before the voters, Bullock County, Alabama? Whether or not an increase should be done, instead of 1 or 2 people making the decision, shouldn't it go before the voters? Let them put it on the ballot and let them decide whether or not who should make what and when?
Unfortunately, that's how the law is set up.
I'm sorry.
It's unfortunate, that's how the law is set up.
I'm sorry, sir, I didn't understand.
That's unfortunate, that's the way the system is set up, where this commissioner body will approve, and you do a resolution, send it to legislation, the legislature will either approve it, final say so.
Okay, when does the citizen come in? The Bullock County, the taxpayer citizen come in and finally say, they have a say. Because otherwise, we don't need to come to the meeting, because you guys make the decision. So we need to have some. Am I making sense? Like you vote for the president. So you vote, everybody vote, when you have an election, you vote on whether she needs, what else she needs, whatever the county needs, you vote on, put it on the ballot. And then that way it'll be fair, because I might, you might have a private entity saying, I want you to push this through, and you push it through. And then everybody else won't even know what's going on.
And so you have to vote for your commissioners when it's time to vote. That's the opportunity when you vote for your commissioners when it's time to vote.
I think it should be put on the ballot. If you put it on the ballot, so, it should be.
Ms. Thompson.
I'm listening, and thank you for recognizing the public interest. I'm listening, and I think I heard that you want something comparable with the sheriff, the probate judge, and there's the revenue commissioner. Doesn't the chairman come into that same?
Yeah.
I didn't hear that name.
Well, I didn't have his.
Position, excuse me.
Right.
I was listening to the young lady there, and the public interest, I'm just a citizen, and I was just, are those the 4 that are comparable?
Yes.
So they're all 4 out there being increased?
I didn't have her resolution. Did I, is it in there? I just had probation.
Speak for yourself.
Okay, I'm speaking for myself.
And my question is to the governing body.
Okay.
Excuse me, Ms. Revenue Commissioner.
You all right?
And
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
To your point, Ms. Thomas, as it relates to salaries in counties small as Bullock and all the work we need to be done, us commissioners and everybody, we making more than the county commissioners in Montgomery County and other folks doing a lot of work, meeting once, we meet twice a month now. And I'm sitting here, and we are, I'm kind of disappointed in what we are paying salaries, and that's what people out there looking at. Nothing's being done to the roads, nothing we doing here. Every time we turn around, salaries off, and money's being spent within the courthouse and everything. We're not getting the results for our tax dollars and whatnot. Now, Ms. Reed is worthy of a raise without a doubt. I looked at salaries and I looked at them before she brought the resolution, and the work she does comparable to others in the state of Alabama. Even with the judge, he's still the lowest paid probate judge in the state with the raise he's considering taking and putting his resolution. And related to Mrs. Reed, I was comfortable with the $10,000 because that brings her county in par with what Barbara County and other counties are making in the same position. But because people, we are, our revenue is lower than anybody in the state of Alabama. We got higher salaries than anybody in the state of Alabama. And people are looking at that, you know, and that's my take on that.
I appreciate that, but I'm listening to what you're saying, the law, and who does what, and you're saying comparable to, all of these people get the same thing. I'm not trying to evaluate, if I can, because as one citizen just said, we evaluate when we go out there and vote. But if it's comparable, then all four should be comparable. I only heard sheriff, probate judge, revenue commissioner. And you all great people, I have to deal with every last one of them. You want me.
Ms. Doctor,
Yeah.
let me address this, please. Last year, the sheriff put in a resolution for a pay raise. $64,500.
I was here.
From $52,500. The chairman and the revenue commissioner advertised a resolution last year, 4 weeks successive. Y'all remember that? I remember. So, I find it a little disingenuous for someone to say, well, the chairman is left out. The chairman wasn't left out. I didn't bring a resolution before the commission last year. I looked at it, I looked at the salaries. Now, correct me if I'm wrong, this is a question for everybody. When you go into a profession, let's start with attorneys. Attorney Waters, Attorney Adams. They have a set fee they have to charge people. They can't overcharge. If they do that, they'll be disbarred. Let's look at the medical profession. Doctors. They're all paid the same, in that same frame. Teachers, Ms. Thomas. Teachers have a certain pay scale. Am I wrong or am I correct?
I'm listening.
Good. So, when you consider any profession, you look at that profession. When I considered my pay raise, I did an evaluation around every probate judge in the state. At $52,500, I've taken money out of my own pocket to get things done in my office. I've done it for 10 years. I never asked anybody for anything. And I do it proudly because I was elected to serve the citizen. I'm not in this for money. But Commissioner McGarren, you're right. With this salary, it's $65,000. There's only 3 probate judges in the state of Alabama. And if anybody want to see it, I have the documentation in my office. There's only 3 probate judges in the state of Alabama that make $60,000 or in that frame. The poorest county in the United States of America, Wilcox County, that probate judge making $72,000. So when you try to lump things together, I'm not saying that the chairman shouldn't get a pay raise. I'm not saying Mrs. Reed. When I did mine, I looked at the probate judge's profession. And I think, well, I know that's the way you're supposed to look at it. Ms. Reed should look at the Revenue Commission, the commissioners. Look at other commissioners throughout the state of Alabama. I think you all make $26,600 a year. That's some of the highest paid salaries in the state of Alabama for a commissioner. Now,
For this size county.
for this size county, well, not necessarily this side of the county, but throughout some of the highest.
Someone like 100,000.
And I want to address the other young lady. When you vote and you elect the commissioners of the governing body, they pass a resolution. Only bills that can be acted has to be done by the Alabama legislature. Your state senators, your state representatives. That's who decide whether or not public officials get pay raises in the state of Alabama. That's the way the government is set. That's the way it's set up. Chairman mentioned about kinship, friendship. There's no kinship, friendship. There should be some dialogue. We can agree to disagree. Dr. King said that.
That's right.
Because people work together and able to have conversation and disagreement. I take issue with that. Kinship and friendship. That's a bunch of foolishness.
Ms. Reed, it ain't no foolishness.
Okay.
It is.
It ain't. Sit down.
It is.
Sit down.
You sit down. You don't tell me to sit down. Who you think you're talking to? Who you think you're talking to? You don't tell me to sit down.
You're in my meeting. Have a seat. Have a seat, Judge. You're in my meeting.
I'm not in that.
Well, go back to your office, Judge.
Spell it.
Go
Put it in a sentence.
Go back to your office.
I'm not going anywhere. You put me out.
Well, have a seat.
I'm not going anywhere.
I'm not gonna make you go, but.
Well, I know you
Well,
not.
sit down, Judge. Ms.
You
Reed,
need to learn your role.
You need to run your role.
I know my role. You learn yours. You can't even chair a commission. You ever heard of Robert Rules of
Oh,
Order?
man, we're not gonna go there now. We're not gonna go there.
I'm going there.
You're not gonna go there. If we're gonna go there, you ought to be made to live in the county. You don't live in the county. Now,
Give me an address. Give me an address. Just don't tell me I'm gonna live somewhere. You come up with an address.
go ahead.
You come up with an address.
Go ahead.
Very
I
disrespectful.
didn't come to argue this morning. Only thing I'm asking you to increase the
Your salary.
resolution. Yes, sir.
Yours, and we understand it, and you know what, your office stands on its own.
Right.
Do not put your office with another entity. So whatever you come for your office, you come for your office.
Well,
And
I
that's the way,
understand.
and that's the way, that's the way the law is. And once it goes before the senator is gonna vote on the revenue office.
Right,
They're not gonna vote on a wide resolution.
right.
They're not gonna do that. So whatever is coming from your office, that's what it is. So we're gonna go forward, we're gonna go forward with.
Do we want to just add that to the agenda too?
Take
Do we need to just add that to the agenda to redo the resolution?
Well, it's up to this commissioner body. Up to this commissioner body.
Would you recommend that?
It's up to this commissioner body if we wanna give Ms. Reed a $2,000 extension on the rate. It's up to this commissioner body. If we wanna send that resolution,
Well, let's just add it to the agenda and then. Yeah, put it on the agenda. Put it on the agenda. And then you can vote from one way or the other. That's how good.
Which is you putting it on,
Today's agenda.
you say, because if you're gonna advertise starting, you need to take care of it before you start advertising.
Right.
Well, we're in the agenda.
I will say, at the time, you presented it, I was comfortable with 10,000. I don't know if I'm comfortable going any higher than 10,000. When it comes up, I'm just saying, I'm just letting you know when it comes
What
up.
I'm saying is you didn't sign it in 22, so if you don't sign it in 23,
Oh, no.
that's fine, because like I said, y'all put me through the ropes. I came a whole year asking you for a $10,000, $12,000 increase. Okay, I never seen the probate judge down here. From the whole time I was coming, the judge never came before this body and asked for a raise. It was the sheriff, myself, and the chairman. So, I mean, you talking about what we did in other counties, we didn't vote for you in other counties, we voted for you here.
And I'm comfortable with 10,000,
Yeah, but I'm saying, we had an increase in taxes this year through reappraisal. I didn't think I would need those figures with me, but I've compensated for my increase in salary. I mean, I'm raising the money to do my salary.
Ms. Ricky, it's gonna be on the agenda.
Okay.
Commissioners got a choice. Either way. It's gonna be on the agenda for today. It's gonna be on the agenda to add that. And they got a right to approve. And before we go to vote, Commissioner McGowan, Ms. Scott says she would accept this point, you know, Jason would do that. There's a lot of people wrong.
Thank you. Thank you, Doc.
Commissioner, Ms. Scott says she could accept. Jason would do that for her. Jason, you wanna come up?
I just have, I want to, I don't need to discuss this necessarily. We can take a review and discuss it in the meantime. This is air conditioning repair out there in the stone building that Commissioner Larkins is aware of. That's the proposal. That's for the labor and install of evaporator cool off there. On one of the units out there, it's not cooling. It wasn't cooling toward the end of the summer, but didn't really need it as much. But we will need it coming up shortly. I'd like that to be paid out of capital improvements, but I'd like that to be placed on the agenda, you know, for the meeting in 2 weeks. And then also, advertising.
AIS was doing, AIS maintenance contract.
I have not.
They doing all our.
I'm open to another as well too. I'm open to, that's why I bring it up. So if there's anybody else you want me to try to get a quote from, I'm all for it. But bringing that to you, I know it's about, you know, it's gonna be hot pretty soon and the air conditioning does not cool. One more thing too.
Well, before you get off that, you got more than one quote. Well, I mean, why don't wrong is not quote? You got more than one quote. You got a quote that was emailed to you for the same particular job.
I never saw that. I've never seen that. If it's in the email, I don't know where it is. If I would have seen it, I would have brought it to you.
Yes.
I know you mentioned that you had a guy. I know you mentioned that you had a guy that was gonna provide a quote. I've never.
Yeah, he came out there and looked at the system and provided a quote. And you got more than one quote. And the same with it, we are paying a company. They are contracted with us. I mean, have they been out to look at it?
No, they haven't.
Okay, well, we need to give them the opportunity to come out and look at it too. If we're gonna do, we wanna make sure we gonna cover every basis, you know, we're not gonna be biased on anything we do.
No, and I'm fine with that. That's just why, that's the only one that, I know you mentioned that you were gonna have a guy come and look at it. I haven't seen anything from him. And I can talk to AISC or whoever Mr. McGowan's talking
No,
about.
that's like Commissioner Larkin said, we got a maintenance contract, let the same people look at all our maintenance on our heating and cooling, then go getting other folks involved. We got a maintenance contract, we pay a monthly maintenance fee on this equipment, they'll look at it.
Do we pay them a monthly maintenance fee for that?
Yeah, they got all that, they got a maintenance fee. They'll handle all
I will discuss that. The other thing is, I'd like to consider to advertise for the assistant engineer position. Like I said, I'm just gonna bring this to your attention. 2 weeks from now, if there's any questions, let me know. But I will reach out to just AISC. Is that what you said?
Actually, a call from the office.
I get it.
Any other questions about that? Mr. Watts, he said he's gonna be here, and I'm going to ask the judge to shine in on this about him having an assistant deputy coroner, and the issue was, could we pay their bond? Did he talk to you, Attorney Ward?
You talking about the assistant
Coroner.
He did not talk to me directly. I didn't know something about it. I did speak with Ms. Brattle from your office, and there was some question about the bond. And my question, which has not been answered, is where is the authority coming for the coroner to engage an assistant coroner? I don't find any statutory authority for Bullock County. Now, I found numerous counties that have had legislation passed where they could hire, or their coroner could engage a assistant coroner, deputy coroner, whatever name you want to give it, and the county could, they even authorize funding. But I have not found anywhere in the statutory scheme or legislation where Bullock County is authorized to have a deputy coroner. I know the information that I received was that the coroner was going to pay this person out of his own pocket, which is fine if that's what he chooses to do, but I don't know where the deputy coroner is getting his authority to be deputy coroner. You know, somebody's got to engage him, somebody's got to swear him in. But I look statutorily, I found 7 or 8 counties that have had legislation passed, but I have not found anywhere Bullock County has done that. And so, if you want to pay a bond, the bonding company's going to want to know, well, where is he getting his authority from to hold this position? I understand if he's going to be a deputy coroner or assistant coroner, that he's going to need to be bonded. That's not the issue with me. Where does the authority come from? And just because another county does it, doesn't make it statutorily right here. Unless we're going to ask out, like say Clark County, Shelby County. Now your larger counties already have done it, Jefferson, Montgomery, they got more need. But again, I haven't found where Bullock County is authorized to have a deputy coroner. So that said, how are you going to bond somebody who don't have authority? That's my question. And that's all I mean, but again, that's where I'm coming from.
The coroner is out of town, and we have a deputy.
It's a good question. I don't have the answer to that. I know if the sheriff gets arrested, the coroner can arrest him, but I mean, I know, but I can't answer that. I'm assuming that they thought the coroner would be in the county. I mean, I understand people go on vacation.
You could be sick in the hospital.
Mr. Rowe, you used to fill in the coroner.
Yes, when Gertrude was here.
Yeah, he used to fill in. He was to fill in. And I'm pretty sure you wouldn't mind filling in now, you know, if it.
Judge Taylor, could you come up and help us assist on a question about the coroner's position? About the deputy coroner? Watts couldn't be here today, and you want to know if we could pay for the bond for his assistance.
I have no information.
He hadn't talked with you?
No.
But he claimed he talked with you about it.
I don't know anything about that.
He said he talked to you.
He probably did mention something about deputy coroners. I knew he swore something in, but as far as the operation, I have no information.
Okay. So, even him, he's not legally eligible to do it. That's what he's saying. What I'm saying is, they don't need the right time to call the judge board. The other right.
Is there some, I know there's a sheriff's association and there's an association for the probate judge. Is there a coroner's association? They may be able to answer where the authority comes from. But I can't find it in the statute where that authority comes from. I'm not, you know, if they say, yeah, you can do it, and here's why, I'd be glad to read it, maybe, but in looking through corners and corners authority, when you find anything, deputy coroner, it involves, they'll point you to the legislation where that county authorized. Some of them pay them $6,000. They vote and budget $6,000 in the statute to pay the assistant or deputy coroner. But again, I can't find and have no recollection what Bullock County's ever done that. I'm not saying Roderick didn't perform some duties for Mr.
Watts.
I mean, I'm sorry.
Well, when I helped Mr. Jernigan, it was voluntarily. I didn't get anything out of it. I just helped him.
Did you ever get sworn in or sign some statement that, I'm sworn in as city judge, I have to go through the office of courts and sign and take an oath, same thing with the DA's office or whatever.
No,
And I'm just,
doing it.
it's kind of like when y'all get sworn in here. Somebody's got to swear somebody in to follow the law. So, I mean, at this point in time, I don't, how you gonna bond somebody who don't have authority?
We can reach out to them.
I mean, I'm not trying to be Debbie Downer or I'm just, hey, I sit in the legal seat. Y'all make those decisions. I just sit here and try to keep the law in line.
Now, if y'all like, I could reach out to the previous corner. We had some connection with some of the corners in Lee County and several other counties.
They authorize a deputy coroner. They got legislation passed.
Right.
I read that one too.
The thing with it, with a situation like that, it'll be a part-time person that we gotta bring on board, and we gotta put insurance on them, and bond them, and it looked like to me it'd be more efficient to use somebody that's already, employed with Bullock County. One of the deputies, you might not want it, one of the other deputies might consider it wanted. They already employed with the county, because we're already paying insurance on them, use someone that's already,
Chairman, we can check with the association like you suggested. At the same time, Thomas Mabel's coroner, I think he had Dwayne Anderson as assistant. There have been deputy coroners. Since I don't know if there was anything established way back then or not, but there's always been a deputy coroner around, to my knowledge. And I don't know how it was done, but there might be something like that allowed on the county.
And it could be. I just said, normally the code, they have sections on particular counties. Each county's legislation, you can look it up in the Mitchie codes. But there's nothing in there from Bullock County about us. And again, I don't mind going, I'm not telling you I'm exactly right, but I sit here today, I cannot find the authority for a deputy coroner. There may be one, but I can't, if it is, I haven't been able to look at it.
So guys, let's just table this, and then we'll just come back to this, and we'll just table this, and we need to kind of go forward and move forward with our meeting.
Department of Corrections. Gentlemen, just before the pandemic hit, I talked to you about Dr. Red Eagle about inmates, to help Jason pick up paper on the road, whatever duties he need done. So I invited him to come and explain how they operate to us, to see if someone want to entertain them.
Hey, y'all all right today? Good. I'm Carrie Rayburn. I work with the South Central Alabama Regional Housing Authority. And Joy, she is my partner, and she is helping me implement our family self-sufficiency program to the 5 counties that we handle. Bullock County being one of them. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll let you.
Chair.
Okay, I'll let you. But go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Go ahead.
Okay, I'm sorry. So, we would like to have you all approve the program for us. It is a 5-year program. We offer it to our current Section 8 voucher holders and our current residents that are tenants and our housing authorities in Bullock County. They would have a 5-year savings plan set up. We will mentor them and help them find better jobs, go to college, whatever their focus is for the future. We will help them do that. It is a free program. When their rent increases because of income, we're going to match that in a savings account for them, an escrow account for 5 years. After the 5 years, they graduate from the program, they take the money, hopefully they will invest it into a down payment on a home. They do not have to do that, they can use the money for anything that they want to. And they can enter the program again. And I've been working on this program for 5 years. It is hard to get the backup on it, but it is something that I feel like our tenants need to have to give them the encouragement to better themselves, maybe wean off of the assistance. You know, they may not be able to make that jump, but it's okay. We'll help them again if we need to. Do you want to say anything about helping your tenants, or why you think they need to sign off on this program for us?
Well, I guess it's because like she said, it's a free program. It's nothing for you all to do per HUD. They said that before we bring this program into the counties, we have 5 counties that we have to implement this program. So before we can bring it in, we have to get signed out from the commissioner. We have to get board members from that county to actually serve on the board. And we love this because we want to get people out of the housing complex and up doing something instead of just sitting there all day, just relying on, you know.
And if we get those tenants out, we have available units for more people that need it.
To come in.
So it's a good program to keep it rolling.
And it's self-sufficiency, exactly what it says. It's a self-sufficiency program, so.
And we do have a corrective action plan. That's what HUD would like you all to sign for us. And I have it here with me if y'all want to look over it. We would love to have it signed off on. We have our board members already set up, so we're ready to go with it.
Commissioner Ball has a question.
I just have one question.
Yes.
If a tenant does sign up for the program, they do not complete it, will they lose their voucher?
They don't lose the voucher. They will lose the funds in the escrow account, but not the voucher.
And if a tenant, let's say for instance that a tenant does get the funds and they do not move out of the complex or whatever, they can re-sign up for the program and we can try to help better them even more.
And it's not limited to the head of household. That's a new rule, and that's a good rule, because if there is a older person living in the home, or maybe somebody that turned 19, they don't know what they're gonna do with their life, go to college, work part-time, we'll help them with whatever they need to do, and they can become the person participating on the program as well.
Any other questions, John?
What do you need from us, what do they need from us?
I need y'all to sign the corrective action plan for us, and that's it. And this just shows our goals and when they will be implemented, is all it is.
No, for the 24th, for the 28th.
I just got this in my hand.
Yeah, that's the same thing, yeah.
Place it on the agenda for our next meeting, the 28th.
Okay.
We'll put it on the agenda.
Just, okay, should I leave this then?
Yep.
So let's look over, okay, and then we'll come back on the 28th. Yeah, thank you, we appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, ladies.
You're welcome.
Department of Corrections.
Good morning. My name is Dr. Morales, this is Lieutenant Gartland. Mr. Ellis has reached out to us about you all trying to do some projects of employing some of our inmates to get your street highway area completed up in this area, correct?
County roads.
County roads, okay. We are a facility that do employ city, county, and state only, so we can work with you all since you're in our time area, in our mileage area, because it's only like an hour from our location, the Red Eagle Work Center. And what we did was we brought 2 sample contracts, and this is the only reason why I just brought samples, because what we like to do is sit down and order tape. So we can employ up to how many inmates are you all looking at to employ to get your details done. It basically depends on what you need to do. Because what we do is we do train your employees on how to supervise inmates, and they do have to go to a prior training with us so they understand what they can and cannot do on that level of education wise. Lieutenant? And what I'm gonna give you is, this is gonna be a sample contract, and why it's called a sample contract is because we only deal with the person who's going to be initiating, actually signing the contract. But we bring everybody together to make sure they understand the rules and regulations, how much it costs, how much we pay for inmates,
if we transport, if you decide to pick up. But we have to make sure you are certified to have all of your equipment that has to be used, your vest, for safety purposes and everything to employ to make sure our inmates are safe as well while they're working. They are allowed to cut grass, work on highway areas, but we ask for supervision. Someone that has to be over them that is trained in this to make sure that they're doing it correctly. So we do send people out to monitor. One of our lieutenants might come out one day just to observe to make sure you're doing the right things on what we do with the inmates, to make sure that you're doing in the guidelines of what we have on our agenda and the thing that we present to you guys. Do you have any questions?
Gentlemen, I invited, what was his name, Keith from the Highway Department to be here, and also the mayor of someone from the city to be here. And the reason why Bullock County is dirty, and even though we have a facility here, it's been hard to get enough inmates to help do a lot of cleaning up and stuff like that. So I know we can't make a decision for the state or the city, but I was just thinking of Bullock County in general. I know I talked with Keith from the state. He said he have a contract, I guess, an independent company to keep the interstate clean, but they're not coming into Bullock County to keep our state highways clean. And that's why I invited him. But he's not here. Jake, have you talked back with him?
I spoke with him at one time, I talked to him since.
But it's something that we wanna think about to help Jason with manpower for us picking up litter on our county roads and whatever other duties that he might need some manpower. So that's why I invited him. Thank you all for coming. Any questions of commissioners?
Can I have a little?
Yes, sir.
You do not send anybody out to stay with them, correct? You just bring them over. If you do transport them, you just bring them over, leave them, you come back and pick them up.
Correct. We are a work center, so we are allowed for our inmates to go out and work. It's like a trusting area. So yes, but we do have to take you through a course of training so that the people who's working with them will understand what they can do and what they cannot do. You can pick up yourself. You see the contract is a little extra, or we can drop off is a little extra. It just depends on what you all want to do. It's a number of inmates you want to do the job. We work with Montgomery City. We also work with Tuskegee. We work with Nova Soga. So we do have inmates that go out and work in these county areas to keep their road areas clean and their highway areas clean.
I'd like to say something else too. We talk about work-related jobs like that, but you're also providing, helping us rehabilitate, okay? That's corrections, that's our number one thing is to confine, but we also want to rehabilitate too. So we've got a lot of inmates up in that institution who are just sitting there idle, and they want to work, they want to be productive members of a society. So with your help, you can help us help in the rehabilitation process.
And we do spot checks. So, it's constantly we have someone that is at your call. Prime example, I hate to use Nova Soga a lot, but I like to use them because they employ a good deal of our inmates that have the talent of plumbing skills. Back when they were having their major issue with their water system a couple of months ago, those were the inmates that are assigned to us that was getting that water system back working for them.
Is there limitations as to what they can do? Is it in this contract as to what they can and cannot do?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Everything is in that contract. And just the basic skills, we will ask you what you need. Like if you need a plumber, we have plumbers. You need someone that's a carpenter, we have carpenters. Painters, we have painters. We have the skills that are at the center that we compare inmates for different locations that what your desire, what you need to help.
They go through a screening process too. We don't just give you any inmate. We do a screening process, so we want to give you what you need. So,
What about heights? They can go any height, like this courthouse need paint. When you said painters, this courthouse need paint, and we got to get a man lift to go up there. Y'all allow them to do whatever it takes to get the
as
job.
long as y'all provide the proper safety equipment,
Yes.
I don't see a problem. That's the number one thing too, is when these inmates are out on their jobs, we have to provide for their safety. Okay, safety's gonna be number one. Supervision and safety, I can't stress that enough. But we're just not gonna give an inmate a ladder, tell them go paint, go paint the steeple.
Probably must have
Don't wanna do that, give them the proper PPIs.
Yes.
Any other questions, gentlemen?
And one thing we want to just send inmates out here without someone being with them for at least a week or two to make sure you all are comfortable with them. Because I know you have an issue with inmates being in areas that some people might not be comfortable with inmates, and we understand that. But that's one reason why we just don't just throw them out there, leave them out there. We want you all to understand, rehabilitation. We're gonna make sure you're comfortable. We'll tell you the areas they cannot come in, who they cannot be around, what they can't participate in. Because a lot of things that when we take you through your peer course, that's what we're educating you on, what we can and cannot say and what we can and cannot do with inmates.
Are the rates in the contract, the cost?
Yes.
I used to work with the state, and I've known situations where inmates, once they got out, stayed out to work on the job with them and stuff like that. So, what the workforce is now, like employees, you might be able to pick up a grenade if they chose to go that way. Also, here's the Mayor Clark, this is the Department of Corrections. You got any question about how they use the inmates, if y'all would be interested, so you can take back to the city?
Well, good evening, good morning. We have an issue in your streets with a lot of littering. We do need help as far as our street department. We're trying to clean up some of our streets. I did talk to the chairman about posing or some form of project that we could have to kind of collaborate with the city and the county to try to do some things, even if it was some of our inmates or you have any that could help us out. I see Judge Waters, Attorney Waters, that's my judge, municipal judge, he's not here today, but we spoke about that. We just stepped out, but we spoke about some stuff as well, so whatever you all decide, the city is willing to entertain some form of agreement that we could have, and just see how we can move forward to try to have some of those inmates to help us keep our community clean. Thank you.
Do you have another contract that you can get to the mayor so you can take back?
Yes, I have an extra one for you. But like I say, whenever you all decide to come together and decide what you want to do, we would love for you all to come down and visit us at Red Eagle. So you can have a tour and see exactly what we have and what we offer. So you can just see the environment that we sit in, because we only hold 312 inmates housed at our facility. So, it's just like we're in that middle phrase before they go to work release, that we're teaching them how to interact and be among society before they're able to be released back in. And believe it or not, just the little that they do, it helps them just as well as, the cities and the counties around.
And we're level 2, we're not work relief. Everybody gets work centers and work releases confused. We are not work relief, we are work centers.
Are the inmates minimum?
They're minimal.
Okay.
They've been behind the wall, fence, so, they're just coming down to custody levels, all they're doing. So they've been classified to come down from level 4s or 5s to 2s, or sometimes 1s. And, so they have an opportunity, DOC is given an opportunity to, be more productive.
If you would, just give Mayor Clark a contract so he can take back and present to his people, and we'll sit down and think about if you want to pursue that or not. I just want to bring that to the table to the commissioners, because we do need to clean up our county, and our manpower is short. So, any other questions?
Is that dollar amount, Chairman?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Was it an asking dollar amount to be paid to the individual?
Inside the contract, you'll see the dollar amount. I really don't like to speak the dollar amount, but you can see it in the contract.
Can I ask a question? To that regard, I've read a little bit of this contract, and I know it's subject to change, and this may be just for information purposes only.
No, that's our contract.
Excuse me?
That's our contract.
Okay. Well, if I'm reading this, it says $15 per inmate per day. Plus, if you provide the transportation, it's $5 per inmate per day for the
Extra.
transportation.
So that's $20 per day per inmate.
Per inmate, and we have to provide all the safety equipment and whatever equipment is utilized, but if for example, if we ask someone to do some weed eating, then they probably going to have goggles or whatever the requirements, and we're gonna have to provide that equipment. And I know there may be more to it, but
And if you don't have the goggles, you know, when we sit down to go over the contract, you can talk to us, because we do have equipment on hand that, you know, certain small stuff that, you know, we can, you know, if you're taking 12 inmates, we have 12 goggles, you know, that we can provide if you don't have the goggles.
We should have it anyway for like employees.
Right.
That's some vests and stuff like that.
Right.
But, and again, and how often, I know once we contract, whatever the number is the number, but how often do y'all redo these contracts?
Once a year.
So in other words, next year it could be $16 an hour, and I'm just throwing that out there.
Right now, we're at that base number, and it's been like that for,
But each year is a negotiated number.
well, what we really like to do while we reinitiate our contract every year is because we go from year to year, so we can bring you in and do your training. Because you might hire some other people that might need the training as well. So we need to, you know, bring them in to go over training and making sure that everybody is still on one accord. Like if you're having an issue with the inmate, you can always just pick the phone up. We don't need him anymore. We'll pull him in. That's no problem. It's no penalization for firing anybody or anything. We just, you know, it's just utilized on what we have on it.
Next thing I see where the person who's going to supervise the inmates, if we do a contract, or supervise the people who's on the work release, has got to go through your training program,
Correct.
be approved and so forth.
Correct.
And I'm assuming in that training, there is a contraband training, big time.
Yes, sir.
Because I know, I'm a prosecutor also, and I know what goes on in the prison out here. And I don't understand how they do it, but they do it. But anyway, I'm talking about the people getting stuff in. That's got to be an issue with a work release. And I don't mean that negatively on you or anything, but I know how people put stuff beside the road and put it by a post, and you pick it up at that post in the morning, I'm gonna leave it tonight, and it'll be somebody from Atlanta or whatever, they'll pick it up and slip it back into prison or the work site or whatever. My question is this: when and if that happens, and it's gonna happen, you know it does, and I do too, who's responsible?
That's why we take you through this training. Because we teach you all the responsibility of being observative. If you see something, notice something, pay attention. If a little car keep riding by, you know something is wrong. If you're with them, not sitting in the vehicle and observing, you're gonna see what's going on with those inmates when they're out working on their work detail. And the way we do this is, they're gonna go through a process of being shaken down before they come in the facility, before they go out to the facility. Whatever they take out, they cannot bring back in, and whatever comes back in, we're gonna go through that process of making sure they have to go through a shakedown procedure. So if they're caught with contraband, we're gonna deal with them. We're not penalizing.
That ain't my question.
It's answering your question, because we're not penalizing you all.
No.
We're dealing with that inmate.
No, ma'am, you hadn't answered my question.
So what's
I don't think you understood my question.
We're not gonna blame you, but
I
let's
just
say,
said we're not penalizing you all.
Well, hold on, let me lay this out a little bit better for you. At present, we have received notice that the chairman of our commission is being sued by a family that had an inmate at Bullock County. I don't think it has any merit. I'm not saying that. I'm not going there. But they're now suing Department of Corrections, the warden, and different things, or they filed a notice of claim for preparation for an inmate who died because a synthetic drug got into, or he got threats and they wouldn't protect him, and now they're going to sue the administration out there because he committed suicide. Now my question is this, and I know from sitting in this seat, being a prosecutor, the weapon of choice in the prison now is fentanyl. They want to kill somebody, they don't stab them anymore, they just give them overdose of fentanyl and they go on somewhere else. They did. My question is, if somebody picks up some fentanyl outside the roadway that's been planted, and our supervising guy, for whatever reason, don't pick it up, and he gets back into prison and somebody dies from that overdose of fentanyl, are we, y'all, you know we're gonna get sued because we're the supervisor of that inmate that got the fentanyl back into prison that killed somebody. My question is, where's the state gonna fall on the responsibility? Who y'all gonna hold responsible? Who's gonna pay that debt if we get sued like that? That's my question.
Okay, let me ask you this. Tell me how they're gonna pinpoint, I don't know what y'all got going on in Bullock County, or what that is you're talking about in the incident, and it has nothing to do with us. The reason I'm asking this question to you is because our process is totally different from anybody else's.
Well, I'm just saying,
I understand where you're coming from, but can I speak?
Sure.
Our process is totally different from anybody else's process. I don't know if that inmate picked it up off the road. I cannot pinpoint your supervisor who was out there. I can't do that. So that's one thing I can't be liable for, and you can't be liable for if I didn't physically see this inmate give it, that person that's working with them, here, take that inside and give it to them. See, that's what I'm saying. I can't physically say that. So what I'm just physically saying, we do our end of our process of doing what we do on our end as far as making sure our inmates are completely shut down, going through our process, training your employees who work with us and explaining to them. That's on your end with your employees on who you hire. But when we take them through our process of training, they're gonna understand what we do and what we mean by being observative. Pay attention. That's what we have to do.
And we're gonna show up on the job site.
You never know where we're coming.
I understand everything you just said. I understand everything you just said. And I've seen what happened in the last month ago shakedown at Easterly and at the county facility. They had more knives and drugs in there than the hospitals and the drugstores. But again, I'm just doing my job, sitting in this chair, making sure this commission understands that there could be some liability involved with a prisoner's death if something gets back in. And I just want to know from y'all, because it's coming, everybody loves Bullock County.
We can give you our legal division.
I understand.
And you can give the legal division on that end, but we're just going to present what we was asked to present about you all having a working contract.
Ma'am, I appreciate what you're doing, and it's been a vital tool for this county in the past. And I'm not trying to be a downer, I'm just trying to do my job, sitting in this chair to protect our county.
And I understand that, we're doing our job to try to employ inmates as well, so I understand where you're coming from.
Excuse me, gentlemen.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you.
Take a quick
We're gonna set our agenda before we go any further. What's gonna be on the agenda? So we'll know what's the agenda. We're gonna set the agenda now.
So this is about your agenda settings and the agenda. So Commissioner Marlowe brought before you guys about having you guys voted to have the meetings twice a month, the second and fourth Tuesday. The agenda setting will be at 8:30. The agenda setting on that Tuesday will be for the meeting on that Thursday. But it seems like now you could come to the agenda setting and be on the agenda the same day. So what determines what's important to go on the agenda the same day versus waiting? Because it seems to just prolong you and then just have confusion because you already have an agenda set, but then you have to go back and change the agenda to add things that people ask to be put on the agenda if the agenda set in that same day.
Ms. Marlowe,
Yes, it was designed exactly what she said.
But it doesn't seem to flow.
Right, we're not, for the last couple of meetings, we have been amending our agenda, like today, the agenda has been set for, February 14th at 10 a.m. We had 2 items on our agenda. But from hearing our agenda setting, you may hear other items that's gonna be on the agenda. Maybe, I don't know yet. But you're exactly right. It was designed that way. So we have time to consider a vote. That was the purpose of it. It was not to rush into anything. It was designed exactly what you said, and we're not following that.
a bit more clarity, Ms. Cooper. At any time, once we open up the agenda, there are 2 items there, we can amend the agenda. If something come up in the so we can amend it and add to the agenda what we want to take up. And that's our decision.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like, what do you determine is permanent? Because, you know, Commissioner Marlowe was saying that you did the agenda setting so that you could have time to think on something, so you don't vote on it so soon.
That's right. Example, Ms. Townsend brought some employees she need help. That can be, we're gonna amend the agenda to add that to it, to take care of that today, rather than wait 2 weeks on that. If something come up like that where we need to amend, we amend. If we all in agreement to amend it. I think we have to all be in agreement to amend it and add it.
Okay. Wait a minute, so we wanna go ahead with the agenda setting of the remaining items?
Yeah, what's gonna be on the agenda for our next meeting?
Okay, right now, we're still in the agenda set. We got the board appointment for South Bullock. Brent Marcus, he's in y'all folders. I guess he wanted to, that young lady's name. Yeah, Ms. Ivy. Wants to be a reappointment. Are y'all on this agenda or the 28th agenda?
That'll be placed on the 28th.
Okay.
Now, we advertise for these board appointments too now, if anybody else wants to serve on these boards.
Right.
We gotta put that in, so we need to put that in now, advertise, let them know there's a vacancy.
Right.
That needs to go
They
there.
need to advertise, we won't advertise for them.
Now, we advertise for vacancies and board appointments to let the public know there's an appointment coming up. We established that already.
Go back to the, okay. Want to go back to Dr. Poe, the NAACP Community Forum, he didn't show. I don't know what that means.
He had requested to hold a meeting, I think it's this Saturday in the courtroom. You don't know the exact date?
The 18th, the flyer was,
Yeah, it's a flyer, it's I can't remember the topic, but it's, I think, stop violence.
Here, there you go, it should be in the packet.
Yeah,
It's in the packet.
I told them it was okay, the sheriff was, the security part of it, he was let me in. That's not approved out here. Y'all want to approve stuff or just?
I'd like for it to be on the agenda myself. I'd like for it to be on the agenda, it'd have to be voted on today or either the,
18th, right.
because the 18th is this Saturday, I think, is it Saturday, this Saturday?
Yeah. So you're gonna amend the agenda, put that on for the date.
That's what I'd like to do.
Yes.
Okay, so we got that, we got the South Bullock Water appointment. Now, the Walmart and Teva Pharma opioid settlement agreements, y'all had already approved this, so I'm just giving this for information. We just need to sign those documents and get them back to Jinx, for our disbursement for those funds, and get these, signed and get back to the Attorney General's office. Now, the public assembly application, the field trial, I just want to put that on the agenda, because I think that's running from the 22nd through the 10th, so it probably needs to be approved in this agenda as well.
Yeah, I'd like to try. Yeah, I'd like to have that.
Field trial. Okay. We dealt with Madeline McLean, R&L Minimark, ABC licenses. Said they're advertising, or we're advertising. No, Park said he doesn't want to do that. Now, Alabama Industrial Services put out HVACs. I put 3 quotes in your folders for units that need to be secured in the courthouse. Y'all want to approve that at this meeting here, or? Because the units are here now, they just wanted us.
Approve that person. They would have ordered you to approve it.
Yeah.
Okay, but it's been approved, we just take it off, okay. Yeah, let's just move it on. We got Miranda Townsend, Asian Department, she's looking for 2 part-time drivers.
You got the name?
Yes.
We're gonna approve that in the meeting coming up.
And we we got Mr. Cooper, from Solid Waste, his probationary period has been met. Want to put that on this agenda as well, because he has made his 30 days, and he's up for, salary increase.
That's what I mean.
Yeah. And that, then we got, Mr. Barber, he opted out of agenda setting. Mr. Dubose didn't show. Jason, I don't know, we're talking about advertising for county engineer. Is that next meeting?
Talking about for the next
Meeting.
That's for the next
Okay.
meeting, what you making out now?
So what I'm,
Making out right there.
this,
Yes, that's for today.
yeah.
The next meeting.
Yeah, next one, advertising, I got you, okay.
And put it, Mr. Henry Talbert in there for next meeting.
Henry Talbert?
Yeah, Talbert.
Talbert.
2 weeks from the,
2 weeks.
talk about the roads.
Okay, Talbert, Henry Talbert.
T-R-L-D.
Oh, Talbert, I got you.
Yesterday.
Okay, okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right, well, the agenda, I guess we have it set for today, February.
I want to be on the agenda.
And I'd like to put Ms. Reed on
Let's
this.
read and make the resolution.
Mhm.
Yeah, she's over there.
Okay.
I guess we're gonna run down and see what we have on the agenda before we move into the regular meeting.
Run down what we gonna have on the 28th, so we'll know what the.
28th?
Yeah, we're coming up, what we can send today for our next meeting.
Okay, for the
Start
28th.
with your minutes and the expenditures and come on down the line.
Okay, for the next meeting? Okay, we got, 2023 January minutes, 2023 January county expenditures. For the next meeting, we got Carrie Rayburn, the Family Self-Sufficiency Program. We got board appointment, South Village Water Authority. Let's see what else we got. We got advertising for the, county engineer, assistant engineer. We also have Mr. Henry Tolbert, wants to be on the agenda. And the remaining items here are current agenda for today, February 14th.
The ABC license, after you advertise, and see what that is, we gotta approve that, that can be on the 28th. We said
28th,
RL Mini Mart.
Okay.
Don't we have a board appointment on the development authorities on there? Mr. Mayor?
Yeah, we had advertised for it, Megan, we had advertised for it. And it ran in the paper, so we did run its course.
You said Mayor?
Yeah, Megan had gone to my attention, I had went in and advertised it, yeah.
Which man, you know what you're referring to?
Put it on this agenda.
No, what's 2 weeks from the thing? Is that right? You just put it on the next
The
agenda.
next one, okay. Okay, that's our PCDA board appointment.
So, that's what we got.
Yes, sir.
Before we go into the meeting, this is related to garbage, and, Ms. Cooper, you're here. We still at the same number of people we have. We're gonna have to increase this, garbage service to make it pay off. But the other point is, I understand there's overtime and picking up cans, and we talk about litter and cleaning up litter. We don't need to be, I think, picking up any more trash cans. We need to get everybody a trash can, because without a trash can, the litter's going out, we gotta double back and pick the trash up. If it's not coming in the trucks, we got the trucks rolling back. Let them get all the garbage they can get.
They're not paying their
Well, I
trash
understand,
can,
we
we
don't,
need to.
we just continue to
It's
build.
just the rules.
I understand, we adjust the rules from this vantage point, that's what I'm saying.
They're gonna be picked up, because you're saying add more people, but if you don't have people paying, it serves no purpose, so you can add how many people, but if they don't pay, you still got the same amount of money coming in.
We adjust the policy here about picking up trash cans going back and forth, and then we let you know what we want done. And I'm saying to the commissioners, we don't wanna be picking up trash cans, paying overtime, doing this kind of work. We want
That's not
everybody,
overtime.
I understand the policy, let me talk to the
No,
commissioner.
I understand, I'm just letting you know it's not overtime. The overtime is them doing extra stuff. If they do whatever they're allowed to do in their 8 hours, they can get it done.
Yeah,
But you go ahead and talk to the
Yeah, about trash cans, because I'm serious. The trash is gonna go someplace. If it's in the cans, if it's not in the cans, it's in the county. We gotta go back and pick it up again and the extra resources on
But
that.
who's picking it up? Because no one is picking it up
I
on
said-
the extra, which is why y'all
I
trying
said
to
if they don't have,
index, right?
if they
That's why
don't
y'all
have a
trying to
can,
index,
commissioner,
get the
they
extra
gonna throw the
trash
trash
picked
somewhere.
up.
So let's just leave the cans where they are and get everybody on board with
No, you
garbage.
can't do that, like, you can't just allow, you're not gonna think that it's okay, but like I don't have a say when I'm trying to explain to you how it's going day to day. I mean, not you, but for Commissioner McGowan.
I understand, but the principle when we brought this to the table was to clean up Bullock County. Clean Bullock County up, not to leave anybody, everybody gotta get on the service. So everybody eventually gonna get a can when we get to that point, and that's what we need to be addressing, getting everybody on, not taking anybody off. So if anybody got a can, and putting trash in the can, let them continue to put it
Until
in.
you guys decide to amend the rules or whatever, I'm gonna continue to tell my drivers and my helpers to pick up cans for people who aren't paying. So if y'all wanna amend the
And that
rules,
hurt
they just
relationships
let me
and other
know.
things. We wanna build this garbage service, you know, we're trying to do something with this that's brand new, not penalize or do anything with anybody. So I think we need to amend the rules to, whatever we have to do, to say, don't pick up any more cans. Leave the cans where they at and pick up the trash. And get the trash out the county. Don't leave no cans out there. You pick the can up, you gotta put your trash somewhere. And we're gonna have to go back and get it again, some kind of way, with additional help. Let's get everybody on this service.
So who's picking up the extra trash now?
If it's out there, when we go up and down this road, it's gonna be somewhere.
But I'm saying, who's picking it up? Like, somebody
Jason
being
got guys
paid to
pick
pick
up-
up,
Jason
Jason
got
got
guys
guys
pick up
picking up trash? Oh, okay.
It's gotta be picked up.
I'm talking about little roadside, they're not picking up.
Yeah, that's
Trash.
right.
Our goal is to keep Bullock County clean of trash. That's our goal, to keep it clean. So let's keep the cans where they at. And whenever we wanna put something in them, we pick it up, wherever they at. And get the litter out of the county,
But
into
then
the
you
trash
gotta get
bin.
it to, you're trying to, keep a department running. So if you're picking up trash and you're not getting any funds, then how do you keep the, department
Our
running?
goal is to get another 500, 800 people on the service, not anybody off the service. Keep the cans out there. That's our ultimate goal. And now that's where we gotta go from there, so it'll be a viable service and pay for itself.
Commissioner Barker, gotta come in.
Yes, no, we're not getting garbage for free.
Thank you.
We're not getting garbage for free. And whoever's not paying, you do the same procedures that we don't put out there, and they haven't been changed. That's what you do, but we're not getting garbage for free.
Thank you.
No, every citizen got to pay for their garbage, and that's the reason why we spent, $1 million on trucks, pretty much. We don't spend that kind of money in them trucks. We got to pay for that. We got to pay for that, and then the citizens of Bullock County got to pull their part to pay for it. Commissioner, we just can't get no garbage for free now.
It's not for free. You gotta go back and pick it up.
I mean, we as citizens, we're gonna have to step up and pay for our garbage, just like every other county do. Bullock County gonna have to step up and do what they need to do to keep Bullock County clean, for us paying the garbage fee for here in Bullock County. That's this commissioner body set the cost of it, and we expect for the citizens of Bullock County to pay for it. And it's against the law for them to not pay for the garbage service.
It's not a voluntary service. It's something that everybody's got to be on. And when you start removing people off it, and think they're gonna come back and get on it. Let the cans stay and build and do what they're doing until we can get everybody on it. We got a job to do to get everybody on this mandatory.
So why did the solid waste, it failed before because your citizens weren't paying correct? Okay, so as the manager, I'm not trying to go down that road again, because if it fails, everyone's gonna look at me. So I'm gonna continue to come to you, I'm gonna continue to bring my concerns to you, because that's what you hired me to do.
Yep.
So if you don't want, if just at any point, if y'all change the rules, just let me know, but going forward, I will continue to enforce them. You can't you can't let people just continue to get things for free and expect them not to pay. So you have to pick that trash can up, otherwise they're not gonna make an effort to pay. They're gonna think, oh yeah, they're gonna keep picking my trash up, and I'm gonna keep not paying.
Ultimately, they get the bill, when it gets so high, we're taking them to court. Don't stop billing them, just continue to
We
bill.
haven't even
I'm telling
set a
you, Commissioner,
protocol as far as for taking them to court. We don't even have, any enforcement to even give them a ticket or anything. People, trash cans, you said, after 2 months, do not pick the trash up. After 3 months, pick the entire can up. So now I'm letting them do 3 months and not even just wait until like the bill gets to $120 before they even pick the can up. So that's being lenient in itself. And when you have 50 to 100 people that has not paid for 3 to 4 months, then what do? You can't just let people continue to get things for free. That's what's wrong with Bullock County in general.
You're doing the right thing by following the protocol. We set some different protocols. That's what I'm talking to these guys, and we establish what we want to see and see done. But you're doing the right thing by doing what you're doing. You're not doing anything wrong. But I'm telling this commission, we need to think about the trash and try to get everybody on, get everybody to understand. We got a job to do. We do to get everybody on it and put the enforcement in place and everything else that we're gonna have to do. And we hoping that the utility board, South Bullock might pick it up, but if they don't, we gotta put some enforcement power and get everybody on this and don't be going back and forth and double duty. You gotta pick cans up, put cans back. Eliminate that kind of work, commissioners, and just let them stay where they at and get everybody on it. Because you're not getting any more money by taking 100 people off and picking up cans and stuff.
And you're not getting any more money adding people who aren't going to pay.
Yeah, but
It's the same.
we gotta get this stuff, we gotta establish up here how to get the money and to go to court in that process from this vantage point. We gotta do that. So now, at this point, you just continue with the rules that you have, and we're gonna have to put on the agenda, adopting some rules for our next meeting. Let's put garbage on the agenda, and we come back and see what we're gonna do on the 28th as it relates to this. But until then, you just follow the rules that you got, and then we give you some more other direction. Until we give you other direction, just continue to follow the rules you have. But we need to decide the direction of what we're gonna do to collect this. So let's put garbage on, it's gone long enough down the road. Let's add it for the 28th agenda. 28th agenda.
May I speak?
Yes, sir, yes, sir.
Well, we really need to have a work section on it, because see, you're adding it to the agenda, but we don't need to just pound this out in the agenda. We need to have a work section on it. That way we can pound this out and see what angle we gonna take for us, with the management, see what angle we gonna take for us, enforcing the law. Enforcing the law. So I think that's what we need to do.
Just for garbage, let's have a
We
work
just had
session.
a work session last month, and this was one of the concerns as far as, so why didn't you say anything about amending the rules in the work session we just had?
No, we're talking about enforcing the law.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, but I brought the same concerns, so, about as far, if he wanted to change the rules then, we literally had the same concerns, like it was the same thing.
I'm not in favor of changing the rules, letting nobody get garbage for free.
That's my only concern, like whatever
My work
other
session
rules are changed.
Hey guys, we need to work on trying to, get enforcement. So we need to come together and put our heads together and see what we need to do. Attorney, we really need you here too on it. And, Mr. Scott, if you don't mind, I would love to have you on board too.
With that being said, when can we have a work session before the 28th?
Well, we just got to look at the dates and get a date, but guys, we got to get back on time and get done with this meeting that we're in.
You can set an agenda, a work session, and then address that next month.
Yeah.
Not to rush, right, question.
I think it was, Ray wants to be on the agenda. Ray,
Yes, sir.
you asked the gentleman, you said you want to be on the agenda, somebody just told you you want to be on the agenda?
Yes.
Next month, 28th of this month, date.
28.
28th.
Or you want to talk about it? Or you want to?
That's fine too. It's gonna make a difference.
Okay.
Are you asking to be on the agenda for the day, because we ain't in the regular meeting yet?
Oh, yeah.
So I'm just.
I'll be on the agenda for today.
Agenda for today?
Yes.
We need to know what you're talking about, yeah, it's something to vote on. It's something to vote on?
Yes, we're gonna talk about the EMA position, the salary, and the request for help in the department. That's an agenda item. Okay, 28.
28th.
Well, does he want to discuss it now, kind of tell us what his thoughts are while we're in our agenda setting, so we'll know what, that's fine. Discuss it. Yeah, we're still in the agenda setting right now, we probably.
Whatever you want, whichever way y'all wanna do it, I'm fine.
Well, if you're ready to discuss it now, we can hear it now, and put it on the agenda for the 28th.
Okay. Well, there have been many times several times I came here to talk with you guys. Right now, the salary requested to add an administrator to assist with some of the things, some of the administrative work. And so far, that has been denied. And with all the things that come with EMA, the classes, the meetings, the studying, the conferences, the classes and everything that you have to go to in state and out of state, and then to also be the county safety officer. Then we're also talking about adding solid waste enforcement. I've stated it numerous times that that is not a one-man position, and each time it has been, well, hey, that's what we can afford, that's what we can do, and I know that things can be different. But my goal when I came to the EMA was to be proactive versus reactive. And so far, I can literally understand and see why we have such a rapid turnover every 2 or 3 years, because nobody wants to address EMA as a legitimate part of Bullock County. And if you don't know it, if anything comes through Bullock County, like went through Ottawa, Selma, and these other places, then you will realize how important this department is. I don't know what it's gonna take to convince people to understand that this is more than just weather. I don't know. But it needs to be some consideration financially, and it needs to be consideration as far as adding other employees to the job. And at this time, anybody have any questions?
I don't have any questions, but I fully understand EMA. I go to all EMA conferences and everything else that's going on around the state. So now I fully understand what EMA is about, so I fully understand. Just to answer the question, I mean, as it relates to Wayne, for anybody gonna receive some funds, EMA have to sign off on. In some cities, they get money from industries like Wayne Farms to help the salaries of our major. We don't have any real major stuff, but they contribute toward EMA because EMA got to be involved.
We've had issues with them over the past few years, just losing guts and stuff on the highway.
Yeah, I'm thinking about maybe funding from our funding source too. You know, other EMAs, they get funding from other entities within the municipality and county because any disasters got to be signed off through EMA. You won't get any disaster relief.
I mean, there are ways to seek revenue through some of the companies
So
here.
what about the $12,000 that they talk about? Are we getting that, you know, toward the EMA salary? Your total salary is how much and where is it coming from?
Well, right now, my total salary is $38,000 a year. That's based on 50% from the state and 50% from the county. It could be adjusted. I don't know what the state's maximum proportion is that they're considering. I spoke with Patrick earlier. He did tell me at a conference that they had discussions concerning EMA salary.
We had a lobbying, when we was at the meeting, you know, it was on the district meeting agenda as far as cost of living adjustment for the EMA. That's on the agenda that Sonny's lobbying for coming up.
Yeah, the point I was making is $12,000 for certification. If you got certain certifications in the EMA, that could be applied to your salary. I was thinking about that. That's why I asked about the salary.
Okay, well, see,
Because that's all you get now.
Even with, right now,
The state brings $12,000.
the way they have it drawn up saying the max collective, the max salary that you could receive is $40,000, even if you're fully certified. So you're telling me to take 2-3 years of courses to become fully certified?
No, I had those already. I don't know what it is.
No, that's what I'm saying. That's the certification. It's an extensive studying and learning and classes to get this full certification. But even then, if it increases, my salary will only go up $1,000 a year. So where is that beneficial?
I was thinking 12,000 when I heard you can get 12,000, but it won't go over a certain. Okay, no.
So, Mr. Chairman?
Yes, sir.
What's your recommendation for adjustment and your recommendation for administrator?
Well, currently, when I look over different departments, the average EMA salary is
is approximately $52,000 as average. I think the starting salary that we were looking at, as far as adding an administrator, I think that the minimum salary that y'all were requesting, like $13 an hour, we can put that out there. And to be honest with you, I wouldn't even request too much. I just know that based on the experience that I've had for the last couple of years, when it comes to trying to do different things, and people will say, well, we can step in and do this. I can't step in and do either one of your jobs. Point blank, period. And I can honestly tell you that neither one of you could step in and do mine without having to call me or somebody else in the state to get it done. So where does that relieve me? I've had to go to conferences, come back. I try to take a 1 week vacation. Can't do that because I have to come back. Or I'm answering calls and on the phone or listening to webinars and different things while I'm on vacation. So how is that a vacation for me? I'm just looking at some consideration because I'm telling you, if something similar to Selma come through Bullock County, it will be horrific.
So if we take a vote on the next meeting, 28th, what we, I just need to know what we want to vote on for the adjustment.
Okay. Well, like I said, I'm looking at maybe whatever they were paying department heads prior. I think there's only 2 departments in Bullock County that was making under $50,000. I think that's EMA and agent. But as a department head, having to control the budget, pay attention to the weather, calling everybody at all times, being on 2 or 3 phones with the different branches that have to reach out to EMA, that's not one man. I'm sorry. I mean, yes, sir.
I got one question before you go.
Yes, sir.
Before we go ahead and forward. How often do you go out there to that office? How often do you spend time in the office out there? I never see you out there.
Well,
I
I don't spend a lot of time in the office. A lot of times what I need to do, I can do from another area. I don't have to be sitting in the office.
I got you. I just, that's what I was just wondering about it. And this job here ain't very strenuous now, cause
it's not what?
You ain't going every day doing something for EMA. That's what I'm saying.
Let me stop right there.
Yes, sir.
If you give EMA 100% of your attention like it needs, you would be doing something almost every day. Every day. It's just stuff that you want to be seeing. Because a lot of times you're going to be on the phone, you're going to be on the phone doing webinars, you're going to be doing classes, you're going to be doing virtual meetings. This is every day. I have several times that if I try to attend the gym, I'm going to miss a webinar because a lot of times at 10 a.m. The weather company, they do one almost every day. There is something that can be done every day to EMA. If it ain't nothing but studying for a class or trying to do this or improve something in it. It's something that can be done every day.
So you stay, I just throw that out. You stay, so EMA is a full-time job.
EMA is.
You're really supposed to be on a full-time job. You're really supposed to be on every day, right?
Yes.
Okay.
But see, let me reiterate something as far as EMA, if you want to say be on it every day. EMA is not a 7 to 4 job either. There are times that there are things I have to do 8, 9, 10 o'clock at night. Ain't nobody taking account for that. Do y'all want me to put overtime down? If I come sit here from 8 to 4, and then after 4 o'clock, I'm studying for a class, you don't see it, so you're not going to agree with it and want to pay for it either. So EMA is a 24-hour position. So no, it's not a set daily hour as far as sitting up in the office and doing this and that. Because nobody says anything when I get a call at 12 a.m. and go out and assist with trees down or having to go check and see the wire lines down or going to do a damage assessment. Nobody wants to say anything because you don't see those things. But you can sit here and say, well, maybe you need to be here at the office between these hours and those hours. That's not necessary. As long as I give you the duties that need to be done that day for EMA, that's all that counts.
Well, I've looked at it before, I'm gonna look at it again, several counties have the engineer, assistant engineers, EMA, E911 do EMA, I'm gonna look at salaries, I'm gonna look at, what's going on in counties our size and what we can assist with. If there's somebody that's already working with the county that can be of assistance and assigned to you, that we have, without bringing something else,
I'm gonna tell you something I even reached out and tried to do. I actually went to Bullock County Career Tech. They have a lot of young people there that need something where they can intern. I tried to get them to put us on the intern program, which they are interested in, but as of right now, it has not developed. But here's the thing, even if I get that internship, we're still talking about, at some point, we're going to need another full-time, part-time person. I say full-time, the reason I say that because it's gonna be almost as cheap to have that person full-time as to do it part-time, because the state has already said that they will pay half for an administrative or a deputy director. So it's still gonna come out to the same thing financially for us if we do it that way.
But we got 2 weeks to consider and look at it,
All right, so you gonna give us on that number?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
just let it go.
All right.
420.
Now, Taylor's contract was up for video conferencing, I think, already. Does anybody want to speak to that, Taylor?
I think my contract ended, January 31st, if I'm not mistaken. And a citizen, actually paid for this live stream, that, we're, live streaming now. So I was gonna, ask to, continue to do like a month-to-month contract until you all, put your system working. And, but the only addition that I wanted to add in it, which I haven't completely put it together yet, is gonna be added to the old contract, which is, a minimum payment if I show up $150, whether your meeting is 10 minutes or your meeting is 1 hour. And that was the only thing I would like to add.
Yeah. So you drawing it up, you saying?
Yeah, I'm gonna, add to the old contract, just that statement, just that one sentence.
Until we get going and do video for ourselves.
Well, I thought you had started back since we didn't have our.
No, I hadn't started back because, I wasn't gonna do that, yeah. That's not the legal way to do it, so I was gonna do it correct. But, I also wanna say that citizens are also welcome to sponsor a live stream like today was, Like, and if they sponsor a live stream, then the county wouldn't have to pay it. And I can add that to the,
It's ready to go. I'm sorry, I'm talking to Marlon, he said the system is ready, he's waiting on.
Correct that, from this, more, with the state, thing we voted on for career tech, to have a part-time helper, to come in and assist with that, one of the one of the duties that she did. So the system is ready, the camera's ready to go, you're just gonna have the manpower person to record it. Just can, yeah, she just not working.
No, I mean, we need her in the office. I mean, she full-time working at office, right?
Who's that smart, the advisor is trying to bring from you?
He come to the school, give us what we need. She do what we need to do.
but in that against the law, you can't just, create a new position for somebody in your office just because.
I delegate her to do what I want her to do concerning this here, like Patty up here.
No, you can't. I'm a wage and hour investigator on my full-time job, so you cannot
according to law, the Fair Labor Standards Act, you cannot,
We're not gonna get into that.
you can't do that.
We're not gonna.
You can't do that.
Commissioner, how do you want to?
That's against the law.
Do we want to do what she requests? Or do you want to only use the system that you have? That's my concern. I have a problem with it.
The system is ready to go, you just plug the laptop in and record. It's just a matter of what platform you want to record. We need a digital card, we're gonna do YouTube, or either, my idea was for record our music and put it on our county website. It never was intention for live streaming. It never was for that intention. Because the only live streaming platforms I know of is Facebook and YouTube. So those are the only two that I know of. So the purpose of it was to record our music and put it on our Facebook, on our county website page. And then perhaps we do a live stream. We need to officially get a Facebook page, an official YouTube page, and send the URL to our YouTube account and put that on our Facebook. So that's some of the things that the young lady from Career, whoever they sent from Career Tech was going to help establish. So if that's not accepted, we're waiting on Ms. Moore on the signature and another signature from the state. Once we get that person will be ready to come work for Bullock County Commission part-time.
And that's, but you say you want a month contract right now.
That's right.
Until we get this up to money.
That's right.
But do we need to approve that a request is, if we do 15 minutes, it's still, or she gonna get a minimum of 150, we need to go back there and just approve that.
She just gonna put a contract together, add it to the contract, and send it to us.
Well, we can put that on there, 28th meeting, you have everybody 28th, so we can put that on the agenda, that's what I want to say. If that's okay with the commission.
Add it to the agenda.
Write the contract at the regular meeting, or the
Right.
agenda set.
Regular meeting.
Regular meeting.
Regular, if it's a 10-minute meeting or a 15-minute meeting, it's a minimum of $150.
Yeah.
That's what she requested. So that'll be on the next meeting on the 28th. She got the contract ready.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I'll be back in 60 minutes and move we stood on all this. We clear. Okay. Anything else we can do now? We're going on into the meeting. We'll take a quick break. Go through this right quick. We should be ready to make a decision on what we got approved. We'll go through that right quick.
Well, Jason, wait a minute.
Hold on, we're going into the regular meeting.
All right. Let's go.
Okay, 5 minutes break to go right into it. He said, Jason wants to be here. Take a 5 minute break, like 5 minutes. How about that? Go into the meeting, wait a few minutes. Oh, boy.
Gentlemen, just so y'all will know now, y'all talking about a work session, and you want me to be there, but I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm striking the jury on the 24th.